Jesus Christ, that was buggy. How was that so buggy? Oh, Jesus. I think my hard drive's dying. Seriously, what the hell? Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video. I hope we're all doing well. Today is my playthrough of Absolution. You'll notice I'm on kind of a weird character here. I literally right up to the last second here, I've been wondering who I want to play on this release. We did a Ranger at launch. Then we did a bit of Rev, I think, and a bit of Ellie. Then I've just done a replay, so anyone watching this off in the future, I've just gone through it. Now, I basically merged the two playlists. I did a full replay of all of Janthir Wilds this week. Every single part of it, you know, except the side stories and whatever. I kind of entered that replay story feeling a bit iffy about it, remembering very acutely some of the things I didn't like about his Garen and stuff. But actually, as I played through it, I quite enjoyed it. And the most recent release, you know, I think was really strong. So I'm looking forward to the end of Absolution here. We played a variety of characters on that playthrough. I was a Mesmer. And, you know, using the spear on all these different characters, getting a lot of different spear footage. So I was very close to playing Engineer here today. I really don't like playing Asura anymore. I like playing humans. Playing the Mesmer was cool because, you know, it was a human frame and it was just, you know, the armor and stuff looked good. Well, a while ago, I did mention this earlier this year. I made this new character. This guy's called Odrin Westar, which is a mix of two very cool Guild Wars 1 characters. Obviously, a reference to Lord Odrin straight away, who, you know, it could potentially be a really big character in some of these stories. But also Sergeant Westar of the Evan Vanguard. I love the name. I've wanted, like, an actual human... Like, I've got Guardians on my character, on my account already, but they're different races. And maybe we'll use Spear. I mean, is Spear really fun on, like, for a solo DPS-y type thing? I mean, it might be. So this character is basically the very beginning of the game, except they're level 80, and I map comped Queensdale. Look at that. I have 100% map comp. I was, like, flirting with the idea of, like, fully sorting this character out. Probably worthwhile having its own playlist, you know, like a big Guild Wars replay or something. I don't really know what I set up. Some kind of open world, quality of life-y feeling setup is what I would have gone with. Looks like we're pure Berserker. I went with the Wayfinder Relic. I love the Wayfinder Relic. It's so fun. Especially when you're, like, exploring open world Tyria and, like, say you do the jump here for jumping puzzle. You take a bit of damage there. That would put you in combat and slow you down ordinarily. But this relic gives you super speed for that whole period of time, so you just never feel a slowdown. You never have to worry with all these, like, little jumps that, like, stagger you and really impede your progress in jumping puzzles. Just the QOL from that relic is so high. Anyway, and then I guess I did a bunch of meditations. So yeah, I'm thinking we'll play on Guardian this time, and we'll see Spear on Guardian. Do we really want to use Kamohali Kotaki? Probably not. What's a really new spear? Scavenged Obsidian, Old Growth, Jade, Dragon Essence. There you go. That looks like it fits at least somewhat. And yeah, this is obviously just Envoy heavy stuff. I do have the helmet as well, but I've turned it off. I think it's died normally. So yeah, anyway, so today's Absolution, guys. This is a weird one because as soon as Absolution came out, earlier, well, okay, it was a week ago now, actually. So Absolution came out last Tuesday. It's now Tuesday again. I've done my whole big replay. Response has been mixed, and by that, like, I mean that in very specific terms. Like, I've heard from a lot of people how much they really didn't like it, how they felt it was an anti-climax, how the map let them down. But then I've also heard a lot of people saying, you know, actually when you look at the environmental lore and all the papers and stuff, it's pretty, and the collectibles, it's pretty good. So I don't know who to believe right now, and we're going to play it and we'll see. I hope. The thing is, this expansion is kind of a smaller scale, lower stakes thing, so you might say naturally it's going to be an anticlimax as a result of that, but I don't know. We'll just have to see how well it's written. Janthir Wilds has had some really good highs for me. I've loved the White Mantle stuff. I've loved the Basart stuff. I've loved the Seer stuff. I've loved the Titans. Subject material has been on point. Garen also continues to be one of the best characters I think they've written recently, with the caveat that there's been some real lowlights around the end of base JW. Waiting Sorry's been a bit of a letdown to me. Last year she was like this cosmic, unknowable, mysterious, you know, very, very sorrowful, cool entity, and this year she's kind of, I don't know whether I'm really behind the character that much. The Lion's Arch instances were good. So Janthir Wilds has had some real highlights and a couple of lowlights for me, and I guess I'm hoping, obviously I'm hoping, it ends on a bang. It ends in a big way. That would be my hope. I don't know whether it does, though. So, yeah, I guess let's just jump in. Let's start it out. Now, in the last episode of the replay, it flowed immediately into the next instance, so the next conversation. So I already know that the opening of this patch is pretty cool. Obviously, earlier launch of Janthir Wilds, they introduced the idea of the Scepter of Ore, actually using it to tackle the Titans. And some characters really wanted to do that. Livia wanted to do that. Isgarin wanted to do that. Ludo of Ratasoon wanted to do that. But we were all kind of outvoted. But when I click play this chapter, we're going to get a conversation where it turns out Livia's bored of waiting. And she just wants action now. So she's stolen the Scepter against the vote. And she's going to use it. And that's how it opens. And we did discover that on the last episode. So I think that's about it. I have been opening a lot of my videos with a lot of Q&As and things. And there were a lot of really, really great messages on the last one. But, we'll hold off the Q&A stuff until a little bit later, I suppose. Let's just, for part one of the Absolution playthrough here, let's just jump in. So, rash decisions are made, leading the Wayfinder into the heart of Bava Nisos and face-to-face with the truths that await. And, of course, as well, just to be clear, for the past long while, at expansion launch, it was pretty clear that this was all going to be about going to Bava Nisos, the Masat city, which had been referenced in Guild Wars 1 lore, even in the manual of Guild Wars 1. The most recent patch had us at the Mistburn Barrens, which was basically just the entry hallway, but we couldn't get into the city itself. I've wanted to go to this city. I've wanted to go to Janthir for, like, as long as I've been a GW fan that paid any attention to the story. And I've wanted to go to the city for just as long, years and years and years, a long, long, long time. The descriptions of the city have always been like alabaster, gold filigree. You know, it was almost like a divine place, a beautiful place, right? That was 250 years ago while the Masat was still around. They've now been wiped out by the Titans. It should be like a ghost town, really, but you know, I'd like to still see some influence. You know, I've got such a clear image in my head and imagination of what it should be like. And so far I've heard it's basically a giant cave, which I have to say isn't my ideal depiction of the place, but let's see what we got. So, forced entry. Okay, no, and some people aren't voice acted still because of the strike. And he says, Commander, we need you at the gates of Bava Nisos immediately. There's a situation.
What happened?
Livia happened. She took the Scepter, says Anise. We're headed there now. Hopefully not too late. See, I like how Isgarin advocated using the Scepter, but he didn't steal it. And he's still annoyed that she stole it. You know, in theory, those two have a bit of a history, right? Because she's been around the court for so long. But we've never really heard them talk to each other much, as far as I can remember. Okay, so after our previous efforts left us standing outside the locked gates of Bava Nisos, it was clear we needed a new strategy, something deliberate and well thought out to achieve our goal. What we've gotten is the exact opposite, at least based on Anise's most recent call. Fed up with the pace of our progress, Livia has now decided to barrel straight into Bava Nisos, armed with the Scepter of Ore. As her colleague, I'd call her decision both inconsiderate and reckless. As someone aware of the Scepter's fraught past, I'd call it potentially catastrophic. So there's a lot here that doesn't seem to give a shit about how the player voted. Anyway, and that's not even getting to the politics of her acting directly in contradiction of the Tyrian Alliance's vote. For now, I'll be making my way to the city, hopefully to stop the situation from spiraling into an even greater mess. The thing is, I think it's a bit out of character for Livia to do this. Oh, so how do I get there on a character? Oh, there you go. I have the waypoint, apparently. Well, that's handy, isn't it? It's a bit odd. Wait, does every new character immediately have that random-ass waypoint way up to the north now? It's a bit weird because, you know, the actual story of JW is very low stakes right now, right? There was a Titan, we defeated it. Turned out there were two other Titans. You know, we had Greer, then Decima and Ura. We've defeated them. They talked about a doorway and that they'll return, but they haven't returned yet. And the story so far has just been, okay, shit, we gotta deal with that before it happens. But there's no immediate danger, and even if the Titans did come out, they'd be out here in bumfuck nowhere threatening the lowland Coden, which, yes, is sad and all that, and, you know, we should protect them and they're a member of the Alliance and stuff. But, you know, Livia's crazy, bubbling enthusiasm for it seems a bit misplaced to me. Like, what, does she love the lowland Coden that much? I mean, it's the Scepter of Ore, it's the Titans, it's the Flameseeker Prophecies. Maybe it's that connection that gets you know, in a big mood about it or whatever. Can I just say, running around here without a mount really impresses upon me how fucking big some of these places are. Maybe this is fitting of Bava Nisos. I'm hoping for more environments like this beyond the door, but maybe just a little bit newer feeling, you know, maybe a little bit less messed up. That's what I would hope anyway. Now, of course, I have actually watched the trailer for this release. Did I download it? I'm not sure I downloaded it. I would put it on the screen, actually, because we didn't do a trailer analysis video of this. And I will say, from the trailer, I mentioned at the last... So about 3 months ago, obviously, we did this. We came through. We did this playthrough. In that, I mentioned that I was kind of like falling out of love with the trailers. And what I had noticed I was doing when I was watching trailers of new releases was I was basically just clapping happily whenever I saw new assets. That was basically what it came down to. Did they make a new boss? Is there a new model? Are there new textures? Does the environment feel different? Or does it feel like I'm back in the Echovald Forest? Right? For example, here. You know, this is basically Kurzik architecture, except instead of stained glass windows, we have these flat jade things. Right? So whenever it felt like they blatantly reconstituted existing work, I'm not that excited. When I see new assets, I am. And that's kind of what the trailers have started boiling down to for me. It's just playing Where's Wally, watching for wherever, you know, there's a new asset. And, you know, that's a sad thing to recognize, but it's kind of the truth of what I'm doing. Anyway, the most recent trailer, again, I didn't do a trailer analysis of it, but it felt like there were a few new things in there. So, I don't know. Alright, so, if I remember rightly, Spear has a mechanic like Clarity on the Mesmer, right? Mesmer had, you hit a button, you get Clarity, it enhances other effects. I think you get the same here. You get this illuminated effect, right? So all of the buttons here gain some bonus when you are illuminated. So how do I become illuminated? Is it only with the 5? When I use the 5 and I've got the symbol up, all my spear skills are illuminated. None of the other ones illuminate me, right? Oh, no. I think the rush illuminates me. No, something illuminated me. The 3? Spin around, striking enemies around you. After a short delay, a shockwave of light bursts forth from your position, damaging enemies and granting might. Your next spear attack is illuminated when striking an enemy with the initial spin. Wait, do they all have a spin? So basically, I want to open with the 3 or the 5 because they illuminate me. If anyone has any advice for me on that, let me know. Okay, so yeah, as of the previous patch, this is the closed door. Oh, here's one of those Devourer things again. Damn, the 4 is massive. Okay, the 4's pretty cool. Solar Storm. It's amazing. I map comped all of Queensdale using this weapon. I've forgotten everything I learned about it already. Obviously, we can weapon swap and use utility skills. I'm just trying to get used to Spear a little bit here. I don't know. I know it's a bit weird to keep swapping characters, but at the end of the day, a big part of the expansion is the Spear, right? It is the mechanical improvements. So anyway, yeah, this is the door. And usually when you walk up to it, these guys speak. And they have some interesting things to say. Now, I had a comment from you guys yesterday saying, WP, going into this patch, it's a really good idea to reread all the journal pages from, I think it's from Orestes, right? His last days in the town. I don't have those to hand right now. They are on the wiki, and we did it in the last episode. I do have that in mind. Maybe we'll do that at the start of the next part or something. Anyway, yeah, they're not... Oh, here we go.
I will keep a vigilant eye on our surroundings while you work.
Thanks. Whatever's keeping this gate sealed is powerful. We can't get a read on it. We might be here for a while.
Until I know the village is safe, I will remain by your side.
Sorry, I'm looking over at chat, and the first thing I see is, luckily, WP doesn't read actively. Look at the intros to the episodes! I tend to have a lot to say, but I do get to chat as we go along. WP, wasn't it you who advocated they should reuse their assets more a couple of years ago, or am I confusing that with someone else? I probably have advocated for that before, but it depends on the context in which I'm saying. So, like, so it's been a bit of a controversial thing with Janthir Wilds, reusing the Titans over and over again, but I think that is smarter and healthier for the game. I don't want to get into massive, heady, you know, game debates right here at the start. We want to enjoy the story a little bit. But I think it's good when they put loads of work and attention and art into a random personal story instance that people will play once ever and then that's it. That to me is really sad. Like when I look at the big Balthazar fight at the end of POF and stuff like that. I'm going to mute the dialogue because that's not going to stop for ages. You know, I'm like, oh man, it would have been cool to get a raid about that. It would have been cool to get a hold on guys, sorry, something's happened in real life. BRB, 1 second, I'll give you the dialogue back. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. I hate going AFK. I really hate going AFK. And I especially hate doing it at the start of a video. Also, we're dead. Oh, God. I got intruded on by the dog. So, sorry about that, everyone. Right. Okay. Yeah. No, so if they do something in the personal story and it's buried there and it's not a part of reusable content, that to me is a shame. I agree. I believe in asset reuse for that sort of thing. But there is such a thing as too much, obviously. So when you look at like the Titans in this expansion, maybe they did it too much, you know. Like there's obviously, like, you come at me with a comment like that, like it's a definitive thing and that it's either yes or no, that it's this binary situation we're in. But no, I in a lot of periods in the game's past, I've agreed that that they should do it a bit more, you know. But that doesn't mean, you know, to too much of an extent. So anyway. Right, let's get over to the door, let's get in, and then let's see what we've got. Fourth entry. And I've got to turn the dialogue back. Did we do that already? Okay, we did. Oh, a cutscene straight away.
Know the repercussions. Besides, we haven't exhausted all our options.
Oh, she's not voiced. Livia's not voiced either. My patience is exhausted. Anish, you search this isle up and down. Think of the repercussions if we don't act soon. And Anish says, I resent you putting me in this position. And Livia says, I'm moving us towards a solution, one we already have. It's been in your hands since the start. From the start.
Rather curious that it's found its way back to your hands. Anish is wise not to take a thief at her word.
And Anish says, let's not... And Livia says, difficult to steal what already belongs to you.
The Gabo belongs to no one. Trying to control it is a short path to it controlling you.
And Livia says, quaint of you to assume me incapable of handling great power. Not that you would know anything about that. And Anish says, hey.
Uncalled for. Cheap shots won't win you any favor.
And then he says, quiet, all of you. I can't hear myself think. That's so ironic to have a line like that when none of it's voice acted.
A voice of reason arrives. Wayfinder, talk some sense into them.
That was a bit weirdly written, I think. First of all, like, if we're giving Livia this argument, right? Livia's had that fucking thing for years. Livia's had that thing since the end of Guild Wars 1. She's wielded the Scepter for 250 years. Yeah, she gave it up to the wizards for a while, right? She gifted it to them, whatever, for safekeeping. But at the end of the day, yeah, she's all right with it. Like, everyone's got in this big moral panic about her holding it or whatever, or wanting it, but she's wielded it for that long. And it's funny that in that cutscene, she doesn't say that. And I'm wondering if the reason she doesn't say that in that cutscene is because if the writers did have her say it, you'd realize how empty this whole fear of the Scepter really is. Again, it just comes back to this thing of I don't think Janthir Wilds justified well enough what the issue is with the Scepter. We've had them suggest that it's bad to use. but there's been no definitive examples or extrapolation about that. It's just trust me, bro, right? In the last video, we talked about how, you know, there's a throwaway line from the Forgotten in Nightfall where they talk about the twin scepter, the Staff of the Mists, and how, you know, it had corrupted people. But again, there's no definitive examples. And it's like, yeah, Livia's been fun with it. What I do like about that scene, though, is it kind of sounds like the Scepter. So, in the last video, someone pointed out to me, you know, in the Wizard's Vault, guys, you can buy the key, and you can just visit the, you know, the legendary vault place. Apparently, the Scepter is in there now, or was in there. Maybe that's a spoiler for how this patch ends, actually. I don't know. Maybe it ends up back with the vault. But apparently, there's a point of interest there. You could see the Scepter. So the idea that it teleported out, got out of there somehow. Did Livia, like, have the expertise to pull off some kind of heist? Or did the Scepter just appear in her hands again? Did it manifest? I love that idea because, like, that was always one of the captivating things about the Scepter to me. The fact that it despawns, it teleports away at the end of the Prophecy storyline, and then it appeared with Livia at the end of Eye of the North. I like the idea it did it again. Like, they're somehow bound together for now until the Scepter's done with her, maybe, I don't know, and something bad does happen. But again, they haven't explained shit, so I don't know. Anyway, they give us the choice here, it looks like, as a player, to pick a side, so I'm well up for that. Talk some sense into them, Wayfinder, make them see reason. Also, I don't give a shit if they took a shot at Waiting Sorrow. I'm sorry. Livia's 100% justified to say that to her. She's not the nicest of characters. Anyway, so let's talk some sense into them. Make them see reason. Well, look, I'm going to agree with Livia's plan to use the Scepter. Nice. I like this. This is perfect. Let me roleplay. Let me make some choices. Not that this may not matter in the end, but again, giving me the chance to speak my mind still counts for something, I think. So, agree.
Livia has a point. We're dealing with a Mist Gate and a Titan. Exactly what the Scepter was created for.
You're not wrong, says Anise. The commander knows the value of taking the bold approach. Well, no, just...
Please. The moment the word Titan was uttered, she burst into our council, jumping at any excuse to use the Scepter.
I like that. He's quite impartial on the topic, actually.
If this were a Skrit infestation, it would be her first choice of action.
Don't act like you're some pillar of morality. Hold on, what's he talking about? She sat out of the entire Dragon Crisis. She wasn't jumping to use that.
Fight now. Argue later.
They're making out like she's impulsive, but she sat out of... The Scepter of War hasn't factored into any stories in the game so far. Under her, with her. So I don't know where that's really coming from. Right, okay, we can't be on Spear all the time. I am going to use my other weapon sets. I've got swords set up. We're kind of... Obviously, it's not a willbendery thing to be sword anymore.
The Scepter is likely attracting them.
Look what you've done! Brandishing that scepter around like a toy!
Well, here we're seeing a bit of an example of what's wrong. By the way, you'll see I'm a core guard. I don't have any elite specs. Not because I've made that choice, but because I don't have them unlocked on this character. On the other hand, though, I think there's something novel about playing this on Core Guard, and it feels very strong, I have to say. Maybe it's just because of all my allies. Oh, shit, they're speaking. Livia said, right, why don't we just use that heart of yours on everything we come across? That's a good little lampshade there. And he says, enough, focus. And Livia says, that's it, I'm done wasting time. I just have to handle this myself. Did she run off? I didn't see, sorry. So I can leave the symbol, right, and I stay illuminated. You don't have to sit in your own symbol for the value, if I remember rightly. So I'm not sure how I really want to use the two, just to dash through someone, maybe? Not sure I want to use the sword in open world. It's not one boss that's going to sit there and eat it all. And the radius ain't that great on it. It might be something else we can play with. Let me just put a signet on there, up our power. Flame signet. Will give us some break bar capabilities too. Efficient defender.
She's right here. She was.
That imbecile.
And he said, where's Livia?
The gate! We need to stop her!
Okay, so she's up at the gate. So I'm regrouping with my allies. Livia's using the Scepter to open the gate. I like this, but I sort of feel like I'm being forced to dislike her plan. Trust it, Anise. Trust me. It'd be cool if she ends up right. And all the doubting, you know, evaporates somewhat.
She did it, didn't she?
So she did.
Looks like the magic that was keeping us out has become some sort of portal. Is it safe for us to use?
Seems so. Ren?
For our use, yes, it is safe. As for Livia, I'm not sure she's prepared for the toll the Scepter will take on her.
Well, tell me more about that.
That, however, is her problem. For now.
Okay.
What are we waiting for?
All right, in we go, I guess. Yeah, I guess it... So, look, the theory about who was keeping the gate closed, there's the Menzies theory, which we mentioned before. They talk about how it's something on a power level beyond even Isgarin, which is interesting, because Isgarin's a seer. The seer's made the Scepter. The Scepter can open the door. Does that suggest somehow that Isgarin isn't quite on the same power level as, like, Sidoni and whatever? Anyway, I don't know. Let's head on in. This concept art, I think, is what I used for the video. Oh.
What am I looking at?
What's left, says
Bava
Anise.
Nisos is the Titan. Or vice versa.
Oh.
The other three did seem to meld with their environments.
Given how much time has passed, it appears the Titan and the city have become one and the same.
Ah.
Mabon, what exactly were you planning to do about this?
So Mabon came here, obviously, and knew about all this shit. Can I just stall while that fight's going on? Will she die? Alright, okay, so I gotta be honest, guys. I have known for a while that the city is a Titan. Kind of. Someone left a comment really... You guys have all been brilliant. Can I just say, we've had hundreds, if not, you know, we've had a lot of comments, alright? A lot of comments. And everyone's been really, really, you know, careful about spoilers and all that sort of thing. However, something sort of tipped me off, and the trailer, it kind of felt that way. I didn't know the circumstances or any details, so I am learning there. So Bava Nisos is in a cave because it is a Titan. Okay, so I sort of heard this, right, and I was worried that it was always a Titan corpse, but it's not, right? So with the Titan invasion, we did have a mega mountain-sized Titan here, and there it is. This reminds me a little bit of going into Kralkatorik's mouth at the end of Season 4. I kind of love that as an idea, as a setting. Yes, we don't get the alabaster and gold filigree city, right? We don't get the divine, cloud-drifting, beautiful place. But maybe that was never going to happen because the place is a wreck, all right? It's not 250 years ago. It's not 1,000 years ago. It's not 10,000 years ago. Mind you, Bava Nisos didn't exist for a lot of that. Anyway, the point is, because it was only built after the Seer War concluded, the point is, it was going to be a shithole, and so they've mixed it with the Titan. But I love that Titans can get that big. And it's sort of like half swallowed the city. That's pretty epic. Does the Titan get a name? Do we get any characterization for it? Do we know how or why it died? Wouldn't it have just eaten and eaten and eaten and then gone off to rampage somewhere else? It appears dead, right? So is there some story about how it got finished off? It's got nothing to do with when Mabon got here, does it? What was the achievement we got there? Bava Nisos Explorer. So yeah, now the expansion is at its end. We can finally finish some of these things, right? So like in the Janthir Wilds category, Wildfarer is completable. The meta is completable. We get another fish. Oh, do I have a mini assigned on this character? Should we put the floppy fish back? I do love me some floppy fish. There we go. That'll be the character from now on, guys. I'm going to keep swapping characters in my LPs and playthroughs, but the fish will always be there. Hello, Isgarin. Now, this is kind of major. I hope they give us a lot of good details about it. So it's not that the city is a Titan, it's that it's merged. Okay, so she says, so you decided to do things my way after all. Knew a little assertive action would help see reason.
Never mind. Let's just get rid of these things.
So I'm illuminated. 5, 4. Well, okay, the Sword of Justice is going to be really epic here. Dude, I'm loving how many heals I have on this. It was really good. Get used to actually pressing Feel My Wrath. These Titans look interesting too. A little bit more like the GW1 Fire Island Chain ones, right? They're called Titanic Macrophages. Some of them are called Violent Geodes. Are they splitting like the GW1 ones? That would be fucking epic. They were. I was just saying in the other episode recently that, like, going on new adventures, exploring new areas, to me, having new enemies to fight and is a big deal. Like, I gave the POF Choya and Hydra and Sand Eels and all that shit as an example. So I know they're not totally new or whatever, but they're different and novel enough. I find it really hard to tell which of my animations are landing sometimes.
It's don't underestimate the enemy.
Are they guards or something? Seems like they're defending the city.
Perhaps, in a sense.
Titan defense 41%.
What is an army if not a society's immune system?
Oh god, I'm really scared I'm missing a lot of dialogue. Livia spoke there as well. She said, for mindless pests, these things are surprisingly well coordinated with each other. So I'm noticing a bit of a difference in the encounter design here. These kind of big defense events where we just progress a bar, they've happened about 4 times in these back 2 Janthir Wilds releases, right? I don't mind them necessarily. If you're playing new weapons, if you're trying new builds, it's not boring. If all you do is just follow the meta and you never really question what weapons you're pressing or why, they probably end up really, really boring because it's just combat, and combat on its own isn't all that. Maybe. I'm alright with this though, because I'm just looking at Spear and how it feels and what it does and what I'd like to change about the build. And I don't think Arenanet should be scared of having combat. It's a way to placate the people who just think it's constant talking, right? I mean, either NPCs are talking or you're doing combat. There's not much else, really, that the game could offer. That's not very intricate mini-games and, like, games within the game and special little exploration things, which they can dot in. But the bread and butter of the game, really, the bread is the dialogue and the butter is combat, right? So, yes, it's a bit, you know, King of the Hilly over and over again, but it's not too bad. Oh, cool! These are the Jade Armor, like, pods. These are even in the first game. You see them in Ember Bay as well, I think. Probably a few other places. Alright, so what is an army if not a society's immune system? Yes, indeed.
Looks like they're handled.
We got them dead.
Ren, that immune system theory, I think there's something to it.
It would fit, given their nature as we've seen it. Though heterogeneous, they appear to be acting as part of a whole. We've seen the Titan spawn exhibit coordinated behavior. This suggests the same, given the scale of time and complexity.
I'm sure they'll only get meaner the further we push into the city. We need to choose our actions deliberately, and that goes double for you.
Livia says, what is a camp doing here of all places? I was just wondering that exact same thing.
She's right. Look.
That's the White Mantle emblem, isn't it? How was that not destroyed in the wreckage, unless this came after the fall? This is where the White Mantle goes.
For sure.
Of course, where chaos flourishes, the White Mantle are never far behind. That's White Mantle shit. These are the patsies that believed Cordicus was still alive, right? So they did make it to Bava Nisos, and not that long ago, from the looks of it. Were they the ones behind all this? They were here in Season 3.
We can't say for sure yet, but I do agree their presence was relatively recent and is generally rather damning.
Come to think of it, I found some White Mantle journals a while back. They did mention making it to the Isles eventually.
Well, that's interesting. The
Why
commander
don't you start
actually...
by searching the perimeter. I'll have a look around the camp.
Wow, having the commander in voice acting talk about some of the side lore only some players will have actually collected. That's cool as shit. Okay, gather some information. So, wow, I really had the impression there were only like 2 or 3 of them left by the end. Like, there was a blood splatter on one of the last pages in front of the door. It looks like there were a few more than that. Or for just a couple of people, they made a hell of a camp. So here's a White Mantle bow. This bow appears to have been brought by one of the White Mantle from the wear marks on the grip and the arrow shelf. You can tell it's seen a good amount of use. Leave the bow alone. There's a diary page. Judge's diary.
They really believed themselves the righteous ones until the very end. Tragic.
Okay, after a night of long deliberation, I decided it was my responsibility to share what I'd heard with Ulrich and Tatiana. Unsurprisingly, Ulrich dismissed it as a hunger-induced fever dream, clearly attempting to shield Tatiana's dwindling sanity. She herself seemed intrigued, but remained mute during the exchange. So be it. If I'm to claim myself a righteous man, I will see to it that they come around in time. So in the previous patch, we heard that these guys were having voices speak to them. They had some, they didn't know what it was. They thought it could be the Messiah. Did they suggest it might? You know, they thought it was some kind of divinity within their little White Mantle religion. They were fanatical about it. It led them to the door, and I guess even through the door, there was something speaking to them, and some of them believed in it. I think actually in the last patch, though, the last thing we heard was they all heard it and they couldn't deny it. Anyway, so I can't remember which character was which in terms of who was devout. Wasn't Tatiana really cynical? No, Tatiana's going mad, right? She's losing her sanity. Okay, update 1. Things have come to a head. Another argument over food. I'll spare the same rehashed details, but the crux of the argument came when Ulrich blamed my initial reluctance to hunt for contributing to our downfall. He claimed that if we'd reached Bava Nisos in better condition, we'd be better suited to withstand our current scarcity. I'll admit that, in a moment of anger, I forgot my vow to guide the ignorant. I shot back that, given his inability to withstand even the most minimal of worldly discomforts, he'd never be more than a mere bootlicker. And that his ill state wasn't so much hunger for food as hunger for the scraps of Cordicus's validation. After that, Ulrich accused me of jealousy, going so far as to apologize for Cordicus's dismissive treatment of me. The accusation was so wildly off base, I burst into a fit of laughter. He dubbed me out of my mind and stormed off into the night. Now, as night descends, Tatiana and I retire in silence, save the occasional sound of pen on parchment. So it was just 3 guys. Save the occasional sound of pen on parchment from our respective tents. I've never known her to journal, but I have seen her write to Cordicus. While Ulrich's devotion to him is a cry for validation, Tatiana's is a desperate plea to belong. One I can relate to. I thought the same when I joined the White Mantle, the difference being that I retained the ability to question, to think critically, and that is where our paths diverge. In times of weakness, forgive me for my failures to treat the hubris of others. Okay. So we've got 2 guys here at this camp now, and Ulrich goes off on his own. So the question is, what happened there with that? Okay, well, we got this diary page. I guess this is Tatiana's diary page? Let me do some other objectives that aren't reading here. Sorry, I feel like I'm not paying enough attention to chat here as well. What have I missed, guys? The immune system stuff was mentioned in some side story stuff back in the Janthir Wilds launch. They really needed something to show definitively how dangerous the Scepter is. Yeah, they did. They really did. And I want to say that that was evident from the very first Lion's Arch instance and could have been written into these, but like in response, but maybe not. Maybe a lot of this stuff was in the can even 12 months ago, and it is what it is. You know, maybe they can't react very dynamically to what... The other thing is, right, as artists, I don't think they should react too much. I don't think they should pay... You know, they have their vision, they have their story, and constantly chopping and changing it based on the whims of the audience doesn't lead to great art either, right? So in this instance, I feel that it would have been nice, but, you know, it's a dangerous road to go down, so I also understand if it didn't happen. She gifted it to them for like 6 months, and they immediately were like, no, you can't have it back because you can't handle it. Yeah, you're right, Farwind. You're absolutely right. I don't know how logical that was. There's a comment in Secrets of the Obscure about the Scepter getting riled up with a Kryptis invasion. So maybe that was meant to mean more than we read, to hint at instability or unpredictability. But that's so shallow, you know. That's such a thin... I mean, that's asking too much of the audience to extrapolate from that. So, the Scepter's really dangerous and we should be really, really, really freaked out. But so far, though, I want to be clear. So far as this story's concerned, the Scepter's done all right by us. And Livia. She opened the door. No consequences. Yeah, okay, we got attacked by Titans. But let's be real. That was going to happen anyway. Alright, so we got a bunch of drawings. Loads of notes and scribbles all over them. Fact finder.
3 Titans, 3 White Mantle. Can it really be that simple?
Wait. What do you think, Odrin? No. Odrin's theory is that the 3 White Mantle are the 3 Titans. Greer, Decima, and Ura are their spirits, their souls. Why does he believe that out of this? I must have skipped something. Why would they take on new names? I mean, hold on, though, right? Oh, no, but Ura and Decima, that's 2 girls and a boy. Do they gender bend as they become Titans? What's going on here? The barrel has been stuffed full of rolled up... Well, mind you, I assume Judge is a boy. I don't actually know. This barrel has been stuffed full of rolled up documents, both new and old. There's no discernible order for the documents, and no consistent subject, save for White Mantle involvement. Well, what are the old documents? Old documents from what? The city? Why did they bring all this stuff with them? Oh no, it's all from them. Oh, I'm quite interested right now, guys. Well, here's another journal.
Journals? Not quite.
Here you go.
They almost sound more like prayers.
Sorry, I said about bread and butter. I think it's more like you got your bread, butter, and your filling. This is the filling, right? Information gathering, interactables. Judge's diary, page 1. And, you know, I'm glad that was a fairly long combat sequence back then. Or we had 2 of them. Because now, you know, we're in a very different... I wouldn't want too much of one thing and not enough of the other. Okay, Judge's diary, page 1. At last, we've settled in Bava Nisos. Was that page 3 we read before? So I read it a bit out of order. Though the journey here proved a test of tenacity, I welcome the change in scenery and revere these hallowed grounds upon which Saul himself stood. Oh, we're going to get some lore about what he did here? Ulrich and Tatiana, on the other hand, seem preoccupied only with corporal cravings, fearing food scarcity. I am no stranger to hunger, having spent long stretches of my youth plagued by hunger pangs. Even after joining the White Mantle, I continued the act of fasting as an exercise in self-discipline, a practice I am now especially grateful for. That's kind of funny, because if he's like rake thin, that means he's going to suffer seriously before the others, but okay. Going without is a lesson that many of our own could stand to learn, our current leader included. Though he dared not say it to my face, I sense Caudicus's irritation at my reticence to prepare meals of animal fare. He mistook principle as weakness, a weak stomach for hunting, as he put it. I would accuse him of the same, with one amendment: his stomach is hardly where his weakness ends. Yeah, because remember, Caudicus was traveling with them, right? Caudicus came up here with them during Season 3, but he turned around and went home. And ended up, you know, the stuff with Demi Beetlestone and so on happened. And we saw that with the commander. But he didn't get all the way up to Bava Nisos, but he was with them. But that ceases to be of a bother for as long as Caudicus ceases to return. Knowing his history of cowardice, I do not know why the others expect to reply to their letters, let alone his prodigal return. And for what does it matter? It is we who have weathered the pilgrimage, who've truly walked Saul's path, a glory Caudicus knows not, and one I suspect is just as destiny has written it. Regardless, Ulrich has taken our discovery of Bava Nisos as proof of Caudicus' righteous authority. Okay, I understand that other note a bit better now, like the schism between them. When he said he still had critical thinking skills and stuff, I was thinking to myself, I didn't get it, but I understand now. This guy doesn't give a shit about Cordicus anymore. Judge doesn't give a shit about Cordicus. Ulrich does. And Tatiana does. But he's saying, no, fuck that guy. He's a coward. He ran away. He never completed the pilgrimage. We did. He says, I begin the newest chapter of this journey with a prayer of my own creation. When faced with earthly strife, may it remind me of my vow to know what cannot be unknown and to see what cannot be unseen. To the bringers of wisdom, bestow... That almost feels a bit like a Order of Whispersy type thing there, right? Know the unknown. See the unseen, but of course, I can see it as a white mantle. To the bringers of wisdom, bestow upon me your eternal flame of light unseen, that I may sheath it against the hollow breath of dissent, and carry its glow to those few chosen to bear it witness. To tithe to bask in its gift, to be not the burning of the flesh, but the illumination of the soul. This here, right? I get it, he wrote his own prayer. But it sounds like a Titan transformation process almost, doesn't it, right? The illumination of the soul. Okay, okay, map of Janthir. Is that really a map of Janthir? I always wonder what these maps are actually showing. Because quite often they're like Corteria areas. I don't recognize that at all. Is it really a map of Janthir? Looks very colourful. This hand-drawn map is marked with copious notes and diagrams. It shows the White Mantle's journeys across Janthir and finally into Bava Nisos. There's a scrawled note here.
Was he losing his mind? Or was the voice real? And if so, could it have been... I wonder...
Oh, come on, Arenanet. Have these lines after I close the dialogue. Is there any way to do that? It would work much better if I... Like Odrin right now is ahead of me, the player. He knows something... like, what? See, this is page 4. I want to read his diaries in order. This is so annoying, reading it out of order. I want to read them in order. Oh, God. So we did 3, then we did 1, and now we're here at 4. The voice of fate calls upon me to see the journey of the unseen, to eternal fruition. So if tomorrow's sun dawns a new era, anointed by its rays, we venture forth, 3 pilgrims whose destinies entwine to weave a transcendent tapestry of the divine. Ulrich returned. His lone communions with the wild rarely last long. He spoke little. And so we went on, preparing a meagre supper as if nothing had come to pass. We ate mostly in silence. That is, until the fire began to dwindle. Out of the dark, the voice called unto them, for it was they who had been chosen to realize the mission of the unseen ones. So wait, hold on. Judge wasn't getting the voice. Is that right? But those 2 were? I don't remember what they said in the last release. And we just fucking played it, but we didn't do the side lore. This was all side lore in the last release. It was not in the main thing. And thus it spoke to them. Chosen 3, you are destined. Seek the gate. Wait, maybe this is just recapping what we learned last time. Seek the gate. As the sun dawns across the wilds, you shall hear my voice, and I will be your guide. You who must open the gate, so fate has written it, so make it be. To think mere hours ago our vision was clouded by woes ephemeral. We're so close. Though I can't recall my last full meal, my mind has never felt so sated. So Judge isn't hearing this voice, but something... Or when he says the voice called unto them, is he including himself? Thus it spoke to them. Chosen 3, you are destined. Seek the gate. As sun dawns across the Janthir Wilds. Oh, I love it when they say the title within the story. You shall hear my voice, and I will be your guide. You who must open the gate, so fate has written it, so make it be. Something encouraged them to get in here. Now, what the hell does Odrin think? Odrin says, is he just losing his mind because he's, you know, so hungry or whatever? Or was the voice real? And if so, could it have been ... question mark? I wonder. What do you wonder? If I was Odrin, I would be wondering if that was Mabon. I mean, Christ, Mabon gave us visions. He didn't speak to us. There was a moment where his echo was speaking, right? Kind of led us in there. Did Mabon lead them in here too? The White Mantle? Why would he want to? There is a big mystery about Mabon. What he followed a Titan in here at some point. Did he then encourage some White Mantle to come in here? For what reason? I mean... But the thing is, right... So this is around Season 3, so Mabon's still alive. So it would have been the real Mabon giving the... I don't know. I don't think it can be Mabon. This story's got a lot of layers to it. Okay, there's all chemical scales here. Is it Master? I'm looking for a Master Alembic. Does anybody have one? These alchemical scales appear to have been used extensively. The notes nearby suggest that the White Mantle were attempting to find a way to protect themselves against the Mistburn. So they weren't completely mad, at least. God, yeah, and there's the whole Mistburn element too. Here we go.
It must have been them who opened the gate. Or at least one acting alone. What became of them?
So this is page 5. We hear him. His voice is soft like moss, yet sound as the rock upon which it grows. Damn, is that like my voice, everybody? Is that what WoodenPotatoes sounds like? Wouldn't that be great if someone described your voice that way? Soft like moss, yet sound as the rock upon which it grows. Like a low hymn carried by the wind, it sings to us. It beckons us forth. We must follow. The first steps towards the epochal end. Fate has written it. It's only a matter of time now. I think these guys are being manipulated by something, but what? So all these diaries are not diaries of what happened once they were in Bava Nisos. This is more diaries about before they got through the door. Realistically, all these diaries we should have found in the previous map, right? This is talking more concretely about the events that led them here. So we got the scales, we got that. There's that scrawled note. Did I read the scrawled note? Yeah, that was Judge's Diary, page 4. Page 3 there. Page 5 was over there. No, that was page 1, wasn't it? What else have we got? There's this diary page. This is page 2.
Things were really not going well for them. Wonder what the city has in store for us. The others need to hear this.
No. Don't you fucking dare. Don't you dare do any dialogue here. And race ahead. Okay, page 2 says, as I'd predicted, our limited food sources have worn down the other two far more quickly than myself. Both chastised by my unwillingness to hunt, Tatiana deemed me selfish, Ulrich muttering some slight under his breath. I told them if they quit wasting their energy whining about hunger pangs, they'd be faring better. That shut them up, for now at least. Though I've mostly chosen to keep to myself. I, on the other hand, find the pain an ideal anchor for meditation. And for cultivating the state of clarity, I credit what happened next. Late last night, from somewhere across the vast expanse of dark, I heard a call. Is that what Tatiana claims to hear when Ulrich and I venture alone into the ruins and leave her alone? It began as a low rumble. In a state of half sleep, I mistook it for the early thrums of thunder when I started to make out coherent words. It's funny, we know Titans do communicate through the storms, right? They see not your promise, what you're capable of. Stirring me full awake, I decided to brave the night. I ventured out, trying to decipher the direction of their source, but still unsure if they were dream or reality. As if to reassure me, the voice called out once more, "You're a righteous man. Please help me. Please help me." Then silence, save for the hollowing wind. I lay awake the rest of the night in something between a meditation and a stupor. Had I imagined it? Was this voice the product of an empty stomach? Or a lone mind colouring in a blank chasm? No, it was real, so he's questioned himself, clear as the toll on a lone bell across the abyss. You're a righteous man. So he has heard the voice. I spent the night pondering the message and its source. As of now, I'm unsure whether to share it with the others. It may be the last wound that drives Tatiana mad, and I'm unsure what lengths Ulrich would go to secure his mission to our false prophet. Beyond this, they don't seem eager to indulge my company. But that's of no importance. My earliest memories onward have been lone wade through life's flood. Saul too bore the immensity of revelation alone. But rather than hoard its light, he held it before him like a lantern, guiding those around him so they too could see the way. And he has another prayer here. As a vessel of devotion, give me the strength to fulfill my role as guide, to set the unseers upon the right path. Sorry, the unseers. I get you. Unseers. May I act as an offering, my body a sacrifice, a transmutation of mortal flesh. I am the votive, the lit flame, from which darkness bows to light. I choose not, rather, I was chosen to illuminate the way. Okay, so a little bit more insight. So actually, this is kind of... For players who missed the side lore about the White Mantle in the last one, this kind of catches you up about the White Mantle and how they got here and what they were doing, and that they were led here by a voice and they got through the door through a voice. This is like a recap almost, and it rounds out a bit more. It puts it right there in the main instance. Pretty fun. Also, we got an achievement there for grabbing all the stuff, but we had to, didn't we? To complete the instance. Get Rita, so that means the barrier Livia just broke was not Mabon's. Yeah, exactly. Yes, it's not Mabon's barrier. We knew that in the last part. In the last part, Mabon's spirit or echo or whatever was trying to get us to go in there. It was leading us there, but the door was closed. So they were clearly two different entities, right? Mabon's trying to get us in. Something else was trying to keep us out.
I found some interesting...
Centuries of meddling, and you'd think they'd develop some self-awareness.
You're one to talk.
Excuse me? None of you were getting anywhere until I took action. You'd still be standing around with your thumbs up your asses. You know, Livia, you're right. You took plenty of action. Abandoned us in battle, put our lives at stake. Oh, see, I want to get closer to them. Zoom the camera in. Sure, you could have killed us along with half of Tyria, but I'm getting the impression you don't really give a damn. Sorry, I'm not... I don't buy the stakes. I'm tired of arguing. Gods know you won't listen to anyone but yourself. You've already made that clear. Do you know what? I'm only just now realizing Anise is in different clothes. Take whatever the hell action you want, and while you're at it, you can shove that scepter up your ass.
Countess.
Go on. You have my blessing. Not that it means anything to you. I'm gonna give her a rougher accent now. Anise.
You heard her.
Melodrama.
Livia, if you sink this city, you better pray the scepter takes you with it.
Sorry, unearned melodrama here for me. Not into this bit. Okay, cool. She says deal. Right, let's see what Pokey says. So in my replay that I just did, I kind of really liked Pokey. Almost every single thing Pokey says, I've been like, yeah, you know what, you're a real one. That's a good thing to say. And I sort of only got it on this recent playthrough. So how you doing, dude? You've become my first choice. How's that feel? We lowlanders can get heated with each other at times, but these wizards give me a headache. Are they always like this? It's like they think they've written something really rough and tumble. What, because they alluded to the word arse twice? Oh, arse? Like, come on. They're not hitting each other or anything. They're not. They're barely. I would call this a bit heated, right? It's not like we're with a rabbling pack of Klingons knifing one another at the slightest cross words, you know? Are they always like this? Well, not quite like this. They don't swear. But they have been lately. I do apologize. How are you... They didn't even swear. How are you holding up? Fine, I just need to smooth my tufts. Seeing friends argue always makes me uncomfortable, especially when I'm not sure how to help. I'm sure things will work out, though, once nerves are calmed. I bet you're right. Hang in there. So, what the fuck? The Astral Wards just come bombing in immediately. Look at this. Astral Ward Mage. Astral Ward Skirmisher. Astral Ward Protector. Hello, everybody. You coming to secure the area? Who's this over here? This is Anise. Let's speak to Anise. This is cool. I like this, that everyone's fanned out and I get to chat with them all. I don't mean to be curt, Commander, but I could really use a moment to myself. See, what she should really say to me there is, fuck off, Commander. That's it. And then my response should be ... Let her be curt. okay, maybe we don't swear. Decree. I understood. I'll leave you to it, Countess. Okay, farewell. Waiting sorrow. Goodness, Wayfinder, that Livia woman would drive even the most sober bearkin to the honey wine. She could leech even Alder's stoicism. Could she? It takes centuries to carve out a personality like that. Hey, don't blame it on age. Not all of us end up that grating. Then again, she does remind me of Ren in some ways. Maybe you're onto something. The best we can do right now is stay focused. Now, you might think, oh, WP, you're going to hate that. They're talking shit about Isgarin. But actually, no, I think that's fine. She doesn't like him that much. She's getting her shots in. And this doesn't feel like egregious or like it's based on some kind of character assassination or tweaking of the facts. That feels natural to me and fine. The best we can do is stay focused. Speaking of, he's over here. Wayfinder, I'm afraid there's not much more to say. Whether we like it or not, Livia has acted for all of us. The path before us is clear, even if it's not the one we would have chosen. Do you think Livia could be right, we ask? He says, perhaps we may find that to be true when all is said and done. That doesn't mean I can easily forget or forgive. She will answer for her actions, that much I can guarantee. I guess we'll see how things shake out. This is quite cool. Remember, he was an advocate for using the Scepter too. He got outvoted though, and he's sticking with that, you know? There's some honor there. I like that. Councillor Ludo over here. She must be very happy. Commander! Wayfinder! Good to see you again, even though I may wish the meeting could have been under better circumstances. Councillor, you're here in person? Contrary to the expectations, some on the Arcane Council don't mind getting their mitts dirty now and again. You may recall that I backed her during the Scepter vote, recent actions aside. Never mind that I have a vested interest in Lady Livia's success. It would reflect poorly on me and my recipients were she to fail in her mission. So, you'll be assisting. How are you going to assist the Alliance? All in due time. For now, Countess Anise wants to get the Fourth Veil and I up to speed on operations. That means bouncing back and forth between here and the staging camp in the Barrens. Eventually, one can extrapolate that will lead to us joining Livia's push into Bava Nisos proper. I always like this moment in Guild Wars. An electrifying prospect, isn't it? You know, where everyone busts into some ancient ruin and we fan out and make a camp in like a new Uncharted territory. You know, like heading into Uncharted territory and pushing across Dragon's Stand or Dragon's Storm or Arborstone. You know, as we first you fill these places up. I quite like it. Or the Sun's Refuge or the Eye of the North. You know, all the sort of Home Instance-esque sort of locales. Livia's main progression. Who the fuck are you? Bengt Toverson. He looks like a dwarf, but Norn-sized, and with blue hair. What? Who are you? I don't know this guy. Ah, Wayfinder. Should have known someone with your reputation would be in the vanguard. Ludo and I are here to help Lady Livia with her mission. So, are you here with the Alliance, or...?
In a sense, but say, you must be the commander.
Yes.
Between Anise and Casimir, I've heard enough gossip over the past decade to spot you in any crowd. Largely good things, mind you. But where are my manners? Bengt Toverson, Fourth Veil of the Mesmer Collective. We'll be seeing more of each other soon, I suspect. Don't need Raven's foresight to know that.
Oh, he's Havrun of Raven? Really? How long has he been in the game? Yeah, I'm gonna wiki him. Guys. Bengt Toverson. Bengt Toverson is the Fourth Veil in the Mesmer Collective. He's the it says he's a follower of Raven on Wiki. But the text in game said he's Havrun. He sends a letter to Casimir Mead on behalf of the collective, which can be found on a table in the dead end. He later assists Ludo and Livia in the assault on Bava Nisos. This is his introduction as a character we see. Oh no, hold it. Weird. Apparently he was rewritten into the... You know when they re-released Living World Season 1? He was rewritten into the Sky Pirates release. He wasn't there originally, but he was... In the 2022 re-release of Sky Pirates, he got alluded to or put in, I guess, in one of the new little lore documents there. Interesting. And he's a part of the Mesmer Collective. So hold on. I'm interested in this thing where it says he's... There's only one Havrun per spirit, right? So in the personal story, we meet Savina, who's of Snow Leopard, Volda of Wolf, Weebay of Raven. And now this guy says he's Havrun of Raven, but can there be multiple? Maybe there can be multiple. Weki says, when a Havrun feels they have grown old or wary, they usually begin to teach an apprentice that will take over their role as they prepare for their final crossing into the mists. It's interesting that it said it in text, but it was cut in the dialogue, which makes me think, in the actual voice acting, which makes me think that they actually U-turned on that. They just want to leave him as a member of the Mesmer Collective and not anything else. Because it's a conflict, maybe? Or maybe the voice actor didn't know how to say the word. Yeah, so Costage says the fact they have the voice line cut off before he can voice it, I believe it was a writer mistake. But they forgot to remove the text. Yeah. Yeah. Costage is thinking the same stuff as me. He says Bengt call himself a Havrun means he either Wabe died or Wabe died. Or he predates him, or it's a lore error or something. Emily says, if they added a mysterious character back into Season 1, I'll take that as confirmation he's E. Could be. I don't think he physically exists, but I think they might have added a lore document. That wiki page is very work in progress, just to be clear. He's new to me. I'll say that. So did the Countess ask you to come here?
She did. I have some personal stake in seeing Mabon's legacy upheld, even if that means bearing some of his burdens. That said, I expect I'll be asked to keep a third eye on the Lady Livia and that scepter of hers.
Oh, God.
Never a dull moment.
Oh, no. There's a real problem with this patch. They're putting a lot of emphasis on her so-called betrayal. But I'm not there with it. And so the more that they're pushing it, the worse it feels. How are you doing, Livia? What do you think about all this? Oh, optional, see how everyone's doing. Apparently, I haven't finished that objective. There must be someone else. Unless Livia counts as the final person. But let's just be sure. I love that this is all under the teeth of an old dead titan. I get the feeling Livia is the last person. Like, who else would there even be to speak to? Alright. Oh no, here we go. Oh, we get the... Oh, look, that's different, isn't it? That icon there? You don't often see that. In fact, I don't know if I've ever seen that. Obviously, it's the green starburst, but within a menu like this, telegraphing to you, that's how we progress the story. Commander, I hope you're in better frame of mind for the Countess or the others. We've got work to do and no time for petty disagreements. And you? Are you prepared for what's next? She says, I'm ready when you are. We'll give the others time to pass through your White Mantle findings and cool their tempers.
I've never seen the Countess have an outburst like that before. You struck a nerve.
Oh, please. That one's always had a temper. As a girl, she broke a kid's nose after he dipped Jenna's braid in Quillink. Oh, really? That's a nice little story. She hit hard too. Never thought he'd stop crying. Unfortunately, he was the Baron's kid. That took a while to smooth over. This is weird, though. We've just had 10 years of storytelling with Anise, and I've never thought of her as a crazy hothead, rough and tumble punchy type. She's got the will of a Doliac and the stubbornness. Makes her good at what she does. Hard not to have faith in her. Sometimes she just needs a nudge to give her momentum. That's all I'm trying to do. Not sure if she sees it that way. Interesting. Okay. Right, we got a bunch of achievements there, so I'm of course curious. Janthir Wilds Absolution Mastery. So, Absolution. So, the Mastery for this patch doesn't have... Usually the Mastery gives you... See, Godspawn Mastery, we get resources, we get a relic. With Janthir Wilds, you get a relic. Act 1, you got a relic. You got a relic. Legendary gifts and things. You know, like always. I mean, let's go way back. Let's go back to fucking A Crack in the Ice, right? We get gauntlets, backpacks. It looks like here in Janthir Wilds, we get nothing. It's just empty. Well, we get AP, right? Which is meaningful for me. But it feels a bit weird to do that. It looks like Repentance didn't really have anything either. A mastery point. So, all in all, there are 12 achievements to get for Absolution Mastery. We've already done 3. We're quarter of the way done. Is that right? I mean, obviously that might not mean anything. That's just for the story journal, of course, though, as well. So, like, when we look at Bava Nisos, there should be a bunch of stuff. Yeah, we don't have anything in the Bava Nisos section yet. Overall, Janthir has something as well. Complete the concert for the... Oh, no, that's the Grothmar Valley thing from ages ago. I never actually did that. Whoops. Alright, well, okay. Okay, Commander, I hope you're in a better frame of mind than the Countess or the others. We've got work to do. No time for petty disagreement. I think I've seen and heard enough, so what's next? Looks like it's just us for now, Commander. I'm in agreement on this whole immune system theory. If we can knock out parts of the whole, we'll have the advantage. The body is an interconnected system, after all. So is this... We're playing Ozzy and Drix, are we? As for the Mist Gate, it's sure to be heavily protected. Some simple divide and conquer, and we'll have our in. So yeah, well, okay, so within the city, I want to find the actual gate. Where does the gate lead? So I want to talk about the Foundry of Failed Creations real quick and my mindset at the start of the patch, alright? And that's this, okay? There was a portal to the Foundry of Failed Creations here. Vizier Kilbron and the Flameseeker prophecies and everything. It was about the gate here. This is where Abaddon opened the portal. It was called Abaddon's Mouth, alright? At the fucking... Oh, it was the keystone there or just one of the Bloodstone shards? It was here, okay? The Titans came into Tyria from here, and then Kilbron portaled them all over the place. Kilbron portaled them here, and up there, and of course to Bava Nisos. So that's where the entrance to the Foundry is. That's where Lear should have gone and all that, right? Over here, the Massar, knowing that was all going to happen, they got their own Mist Gate, which they were going to use to flee Tyria. It had nothing about going to the Foundry. It had nothing to do with going to the Foundry, right? It was about fleeing Tyria, okay? Just getting the fuck out. And they failed. They never managed to open it. Manakaz's plan didn't work out. Nothing worked out. They all just started going crazy because this gate was here and it brought the mist burn with them. So this Mist's Gate should not be going to the Foundry. This Mist Gate should be going somewhere else. And of course, the big question of this expansion is, well, hold on. If this gate goes somewhere else, then why are Titans coming from it? Because Titans were being made at the Foundry. So, does it go to the Foundry? Did it get redirected at some point? I'm really curious. I don't even know what this thing will look like. Also, apparently there are shards of the Keystone that got brought here. So I'm really excited to explore and see that. I want to know what happens in the Mistgate Room. I also want to see evidence of what Saul did here when he was here. I want to know what's going on with these White Mantle and the 3 Titans. 3 White Mantle, 3 Titans? What the fuck was Odrin talking about just there? What else do I want from the city? We want to know about Mabon's little adventure here. And the potential that...
Someone get me a report on the Mersat Tower situation. Those things are really slowing us down.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, nice. The towers, like from Guild Wars 1, that drain your energy up on the Fire Island chain. It's Arena. It's good to see you again. She doesn't have any dialogue. That's a shame. I feel like the amount of, like, written dialogue has gone way down. Like, do you remember in the last episode where... In the open world, I mean. In the last episode, I was like at the camp over here, and just I couldn't get regular ass dialogue. It feels like they're really easing off on it, but it's at a phase of the game where I'm like, look, I don't need voice acting. Give me more. Right, so what do we got? A titanic undertaking. Help Livia weaken the Titan's inner organs. So weaken the Titan by completing events in Bava Nisos. So is the idea that this giant thing is alive still somehow? It's not dead? Because it's like immune system is still working away? It's like it is that idea of a progenitor, right? Maybe? See, if that's a progenitor, then it alone could be making Ura and Greer and stuff. Maybe Ura and Greer didn't come from the gate. They didn't have to if there's a giant fucking Titan here anyway. And they can split and form new ones. So I'm a bit confused about all of that as well. That's an interesting idea, isn't it? So this is just do events, right? I don't know. Obviously, I am doing this live. I expect most people watching this will be doing it as a VOD, and I welcome and encourage that. But for those who are live, do you guys want to do this, you know, shall I create a squad and we can do it together? We're in the event phase, I guess. So I'm on EU at the moment. You can go in game and just type the word /SQ join space lists. That's all you have to do, and then you'll be in my squad, and then, you know, presumably you know how to jump through mega servers and stuff. And we can try it together. I'll turn my culling up a little bit so that people actually look okay.
Someone get me a report on the Mersat Tower situation. Those things are really slowing us down.
Yes, ma'am.
So let me just see. I'm going to come back up. So this is the... That's the gate back into the previous map. You can kind of see how Arenanet late in the day decided, fuck it, these can be two separate maps, right? You can see that. So what do we got? We've got reinforce our armor.
Tired of guard duty. We should be on the front lines, not checking every crate bound for the Shiver Peaks.
Don't you know?
Well, here there is dialogue here.
For? Some entrepreneurial folk got a wise idea and have started smuggling Titan organs out of here. We're putting a stop to it.
Oh, wow.
Titan organs? Who would want those?
I don't know. Some rich, bored noble in Divinity's reach? Ugh, probably using it to spice up their dinner parties. Doesn't matter. We're putting an end to it. Higher-ups are taking a look, but for now, watch everyone like a hawk.
Well, that's kind of crazy, though. What if you can make more Titans out of the organs, though? You could do some nefarious shit with that. There you go. I just said there's not much dialogue, but it's Stivia Yosotid says, hi there, Audrin. Talking to me has already reinforced your armor. Why? Because the minute I saw you, I knew you were going to ask, can you reinforce my armor? Saves us the unpleasant small talk. And I can say, wow, that's quality armor. It is indeed, especially when it's reinforced. Well then, good talk. Be careful out there. This guy rigs. A Jadebot workbench was a bit large to bring here. However, if you stay close, I can help you change out your modules. You do need access to Jade Tech for me to help, though. By End of Dragons. On sale. That'd be great, thanks. Yeah, we don't have any modules. It's a good point, actually. My health is lower than it could have been. I can say to him that's quality armor. Why, thank you. We can say this just to everyone. Thanks for your work, no problem. What we can do... Oh, shit. Okay, I can't. I was going to say, I'd use the offensive and defensive boosts while we're in the open world. I mean, really. They have it all available for you there. What else have we got at the camp?
Someone get me a report on the Mersat Tower situation.
I'm here on Councillor Ludo's behalf. Despite the Mersat's absence, their defense towers are still very much active. The high density of the Mist's energies are supercharging them. The Jade constructs that they power are becoming quite bothersome. I'm about to guide a small expedition to nullify these towers. Hopefully, I can count on you among our ranks.
Should we go on an expedition for the towers then? I mean... Oh, it's a group event. No, is it a group event? Defend allies to destroy the mischarged Jade and close the Titan rifts. Destroy the charged Mersat Jade, rifts closed. That's different, right? Oh god, they're making portals. See, I don't like this. This has happened a lot since Secrets of the Obscure. I want to explore naturally. I don't want to press F on a portal and end up a mile away. I don't know where this is going to take me out now. Oh my fucking god, where are we? Whoa.
Time to set out, everyone. We have one mission. Terminate the Mersat Tower.
Well, there's a tower. Okay, this is not a group event. The thing I don't really get about Spear, right, is the two. Charge forward with your spear, strike enemies. It just feels a bit awkward doing the little dash. I don't know.
Kill them quickly!
We're at the central gullet, it says. Some blighted beasts. So what do we do to actually defeat the tower? Just kill enemies?
Damn your eyes!
Definitely some long-ass cooldowns. Ah, he moved as soon as I put the sword down. God. Oh, we can judge his intervention over. The big cleanse on 2. Alright, I'm looking at chat. So what do we got here? Foreshadowing. What was being foreshadowed that I missed? Ooh. I guess we'll see. Dude, Sword 3 feels so strong now that you can run around with it and everything. There are quite a few books hidden around the starter area. Oh, are there? So I assume I just missed a ton of shit, really. See, they're the two hit for 12k, which felt pretty satisfying.
By the looks of it, our objective has been successfully completed. Oh, goodness. Alchemy. Had we let the towers persist, who knows how much power the constructs would have garnered. Perhaps I can linger here a while longer to see what data I can collect. The rest of you, take a seat and breathe.
This place looks insane. This is pretty cool. This is not what I was expecting. So I've heard numerous criticism. I want to ask you guys in chat, okay? I had numerous criticisms. The Absolution, that the map is just more Nios. So look at these veiny things coming up the walls and stuff. That's a Titan, right? It's quite interesting. I don't think it feels totally like Nios. It's a lot more orange than Nios. Nios is very pink and... But I mean, is that an arbitrary thing I'm talking about there? Just the slight color grading? I don't feel like I'm in the totally same thing as last year. I feel like I'm somewhere different. Love the impression of the big fallen over skyscraper there. Anthos, who the fuck is this? Somebody's marked it in the squad, so I'll go over.
There were a few plants for me to tend near the gate chamber, even before the Titans sieged the city. The upper strata preferred to limit those who had access to it. Ironic, given the gate's intended purpose. It being open now would be amusing, were it not for the parade of horrors crawling through. Take care. If you choose to approach the portal, you may not like where it leads.
Right. The gate chamber. Are we near where the gate is? Are you telling me that we're near the gate? There are a few plants to tend at the gate chamber. But when I heard him say that, I thought he meant the door that was at the entrance to the map, but no, he means the mist gate. The upper strata preferred to limit those who had access to it. Ironic given its intended purpose. Now, last patch, we heard that the Mistburn was really strong near the gate. They buried it super deep beneath the city because it was making people go insane. So you might hear that the upper strata preferred to limit people who were near it. You might read that as some, authoritarian, oligarchic, terrible thing. But no, it was to protect the people. It being open now would be amusing were it not for the parade of horrors crawling through. You might not like where it leads. So I really... okay, we're down here. I really like this story if it turns out the Mist Gate was to a fucking nightmare. And the Mersat just didn't know. They did all of this to try and escape and flee the Titans. all the while not realizing the gate they were trying to open that they thought would free them, that gate was to a miserable place. They didn't even realize that it wasn't their salvation anyway. My instinct is to say maybe they were trying to open the gate to Nios, and we know Nios is a shithole now. Or at least there's no Masat there. Maybe the exiled Masat didn't realize that. It would be very weird for Janthir Wilds to just take us back to Nios now, wouldn't it? We go through the gate and we're just in Nios. It's like, oh, they didn't realize Nios was a shithole full of demons? But that wouldn't make any sense, because Paitha has control of that land now, and she would just say, oh, yeah, my hordes are going through a portal there, sorry, and she would stop. So it can't be Nios on the other side. My guess is... This does lead us back to the Menzies thing a little bit. My guess is that the Masat were trying to escape to anywhere else in the Mists, and they opened a portal to, like, one of the god realms. Is it possible they opened a portal to the Fissure of Woe? Or the Realm of Torment, I guess, is the main... Did they? I mean, that would be so weird. That would be so weird, right? It doesn't work as a story. They're trying to flee Tyria because of the Titans coming out of the Realm of Torment. So they open a door to the Realm of Torment? I don't think it can be the Foundry on the other side. I think it's a different Foundry in a different area of the Mists. Maybe one of the God Realms that's now abandoned. And yeah, if it's the Fissure of Woe and Menzies is now taking control of it, and Menzies is attacking through it, and Menzies relit the forge or made his own forge or something, maybe. But it's a lot to go on just based on the color of the fire. Well, there we go. I forgot for a second there. We actually... Oh, there's some new UI. What was that? Frost. What was that animation I just saw above his head there? Right, okay. I want to find these extra lore books at the start. Fuck, we didn't get the PO... Oh, no, sorry. Sorry to everyone in the squad there. I'm going to waypoint back. I want to find these books, and I want to go on a normal adventure across. So here's a book. The Bava Nisos Site Catalogue. Do I relish the thought of wading each day through a mountain of Titan innards and crumbling Masat architecture, all at heavy risk to my life? No, but consider the prize, an active mistscape, and one which has lain undisturbed for centuries at that. What alien objects might have tumbled their way across time and space, and I'm going to mute the game, space and time, to finally end up in our little corner of the Mists. Consider the insight offered by these priceless artifacts, some perhaps hailing from unknown worlds. For posterity, I shall begin a catalogue. See, they refer to it. They got the way. Who's this typing this, saying this, writing this? I don't even know who this is. Anyway, this person talks about the Mistgate like it's a Stargate, right? Like it can be configured to go to any number of locations. And maybe that's the fact of it, right? Maybe it's not a point-to-point thing. Maybe it's a... Oh, we could go here, we could go here. Maybe the Masat were so interested in this Mistgate because they could use it to quickly scan a fuck ton of realms for wherever the Masat had gone to, the bulk of Masat civilization, so they could rejoin them. The thing is as well, I'm thinking that they want to rejoin the bulk Masat civilization. That might not even be what was on their mind. Who's to say they'd be greeted with open arms? They're essentially escaping jail, right? And they're going to their jailers to an extent and saying, hey, you like us now, right? Maybe that's folly. Maybe that's naive. Maybe that wasn't their plan. On the other hand, they are not the original sinners. They're the generations passed down. And maybe they would expect some forgiveness. Maybe they think they've just been forgotten about. There was that beautiful like piece of lore we had in one of the recent patches where one of the Masat asked, I think it was Orestes was writing about it. It said, I hope you're out there. Are you watching? Do you know what you've done? You know, like, they don't even know. I assume they were trying to rejoin Masat civilization. Also, can I just point out, this Mist Gate, the Masat never made. Remember, they're stuck on Tyria. That's the whole point. They don't have the capacity to make a gate. They stole it. They took it from somewhere else and moved it here to Bava Nisos. So the question is, who originally made it? I think it came from the gods, personally. I think it's what the gods used to leave Tyria, maybe because they couldn't anymore after the World Spire was built. Jeez, I hope people are following along with what I'm talking about here, because the story's pretty dense. And, yeah. Okay, what alien objects might have tumbled their way across space and time to finally end up in our little corner of the Mists? I love the use of the word alien there. Consider the insight offered by these priceless artifacts, some perhaps hailing from unknown worlds. For posterity, I shall begin a catalogue of each and every object found by our dig site team, starting in the area closest to the gate. This is from Goster, the lead of metaphysical studies. Comes across to me as an Asura, right? Seems like an Asuran name. I don't know whether they're already in the game. I'm not going to wiki their name. I don't know if they're already there. I don't know if they're standing around the camp somewhere. Is it someone we spoke to? All right, oh, no, now they're talking about the objects. This is cool. Object 1824A12. Name, ornate chalice. Description, it's silver, it's moderate loss of surface, evidence of past inlays around the stem, traces of dark residue on the interior, bad feeling while holding it. Note, bag this one up to avoid future dishware mix-ups. What? So they mix it up with other stuff. Object 8. This is kind of like SCP shit, really, in a way, isn't it? 1824A511. Name, etched stone piece. Description, it's dark in color. It's palm-sized. Single surviving shard. Plano convex. Likely once part of a globular hole. Groove pattern seemed deliberate. A ritual object? Note, made my hands tingle a little. Exciting. And then we've got 1824B, 422-435. So this is a collection of pieces. They're mirror pieces? Question mark? Description. Oh my god, listen mirror. Is this like Liz's mirror? Hold on. Mirror pieces. Description. Material unknown. Not of Masar origin. Sub-triangular shape and light refraction. Suggests surviving pieces of a mirror or a mirror-like object. It's definitely magical. Currently attempting reconstruction. Notes, what's the worst that could happen? I think you'll see Dumbledore's eye in it. And then later in the story, you'll realise it's Arborforth. I know, dude, that's quite interesting. I like this idea that, yeah, there's all this, like... I think the Mistgate probably does go to lots of locations, and they're really excited about the shit that might have come through it over the years. But the thing is, right... The gate was closed the whole time the Masat were here. They had yanked it from somewhere else. Well, I believe probably Ara. I feel like they stole it from Ara. But maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe they said where they stole it from. They didn't, did they? I think it got left behind in like a reliquary around Or. The Forgotten were supposed to defend it or something. Didn't in the end, you know, because the whole world's fallen to shit in a lot of ways. And they grabbed the thing. Okay, so that was one. That was very cool. Those guys, I'm so glad I muted the dialogue right now. Oh my god, what the fuck is all of this? Lightborn? Eh? What the hell are the Lightborn?
A true warrior needs a weapon for every day of the week.
They have chaos stuff. This is all chaos weaponry, isn't it? Hello? These new... Oh, they're new, are they? Oh. These new weapons are really nice. Where did you get it? Slumbering Lightborn weapons can be found in Bava Nisos or purchased from Sampaguita. Lightborn weapons can be crafted or purchased from the trading post. Sampaguita sells the skins and recipes. Can you show me what's required for them? Okay, so yeah, I think by Secrets of the Obscure... No, Janthir Wilds has been pretty good with this. A new weapon or skin set comes out. It's associated with a new map. They have NPCs that show them off and demo them. Or the new armors when new armors come in. I guess this is just more of the same. I like it. It's kind of cool initiative. I will say that in the Mistburn Barrens, all the weapons you got from that, like the... I can't even remember what they were called. Like obsidian stuff. Masar obsidian weapons, was it? Or some shit? Was all really cheap. I finished that whole collection just buying them off of the trading post at like 20 silver a pop. So they clearly didn't get the economy right before. Maybe they did this time. This stuff does look very fancy. Think about it, guys. This is basically fancier chaos stuff, and it's not a gem store thing. So we should be happy about that, right? Earnable in-game. This is the kind of shit people have always slammed their fists on the table and asked for. There it is. I do feel like I'm going to wait about 3 weeks and then buy them all on the TP. I'd like to learn more about these weapons. Bind all of the weapon skins. These skins can be crafted from recipes or by purchasing them from the TP, binding them to you. I'm gonna look already. Actually, what is it? So we're 1 week. I was gonna say it's day 1. It's day 1 for me. But of course, all you guys in the comments and in chat, you've all been playing already for a week. Okay. So slumbering stuff is less than a gold mostly, but the really fancy stuff is 30 gold. Some of you are going to look at that and say, too expensive, fail mechanic. No, that's really good actually, because that means you earn money on this map. That means the resources, the materials, the events, the shit you get, feed into Lightborn stuff. You can sell Lightborn stuff and earn money. It's good for everyone. There's money to be earned here. I like that. And there's goals for people like me who are trying to get all the collections and all the skins and all the AP. That's much better than them all costing like 20 silver. So they figured the economy out, it looks like. Alright, and they all say the same thing. Okay, I thought there was going to be some new guild or something weird. All these NPCs look awful. What's with the wacky hair colours? Or maybe just the norm that we've seen recently. These guys with the purple. Alright, a letter from... Oh, here we go. Speaking of him, here's Bengston again. Dad, Mum passed along your request. I've pulled some materials on Janthir, Misar, and the Titans from the archives and left them in your satchel with this letter. Please make sure they make it back to the Priory. Magister Stonehealer, we're talking about Ogden, will have my head otherwise. This is weird. This is kind of... What does he mean I've pulled some materials? Do you mean information? Or do you mean, like, selling the organs like those other guys were? I wish I could have gone with you, but my manipulations are rusty, and I'd just get in your way. That and my archival duties have me tied up too. Cecilia and I have been cataloguing and organising all the new reports and research coming in from Janthir expeditions for printing and distribution among the Alliance. Sorry, I'm rambling now. Please, just come back in one piece. Best of luck, Kurt. It's interesting to see a character talking to their parents. I feel like Guild Wars doesn't do that enough. So that's a nice little touch. So... So this is a letter from Bengston to his dad. And his dad's on some quest. Do we know his dad? Wait. The dad's the guy we met. Okay. So basically the guy we met just a minute ago in the instance, he has a son. And the son's written to him, right? Right? Am I getting this fucking flipped in my head? No, okay, yeah. I met Beng Toverson, and this is Kurt, his son. Okay, so basically the character we just got newly introduced to, the Haveroon of Raven, or maybe not, that guy has a kid. The kid's writing to him and saying, hey, be careful, please come back in one piece. Okay, I gotcha. All makes sense. Oh, there is a PS. It says, PS, if you do kill a Titan, I wouldn't mind a fresh sample of its exoshell or one of its organs if you can sneak it out. Look at that! Might be safer to do it above board, though. If the smuggling rumours are true, the Priory would appreciate it. Oh, no. I like this. I like seeing how the world reacts to this new frontier.
Is our luck that bad?
Shh. Don't say that too loudly, or Arena will give us underworld duty again. Remember that?
Don't remind me.
Oh, shit.
I'm actually quite fascinated with our surroundings here. It is similarly intractable to Nyos.
I mean, the game itself is pointing out the similarities. Dude, hold on. You guys got posted in the underworld for a while? Ward member Bob and ward member Sloan. Do you know what? I think Guild Wars is doing quite well with, like, the little people. I do feel like they're not totally generic, or the NPCs, you know? This guy is smelly. She has retaliation. Why do I feel like I'm missing something here? Malodorous? Oh, God. This was a thing back at Secrets of the Obscure, wasn't it? Why do I remember a smelly NPC from the start of Secrets of the Obscure? This guy here, Rift Researcher Adam. They all just look like they're from Earth. I really hate glasses. I've always, in RPGs, I've always felt that way. I felt that way back in Guild Wars 1 as well, because like they were Eye of the North rewards. And I can kind of see pushing it for players to be able to wear. just like crazy ludicrous wings and shiny shit. You know, it's fashion for players, people like it. But when all the NPCs wear them, I don't know, it really takes me out of it. Fascinating, isn't it? I wonder if I could learn more about, not that it doesn't, someone's going to say, but it makes sense they could invent them. I know, it just feels like, I don't know. To me, there's something about the vibe that just, I'm not being totally logical, but he may as well be wearing an Apple Watch. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just feels a bit... And on that note, the scarf kind of contributes there to here too. Anyway, fascinating, isn't it? I wonder if I could learn more about the rifts here. Oh, I can also help exchange any rift essence you may have if you're interested. 5 above. I do have spare rift essence. Yeah, I consumed all of mine though. Oh, no. I don't have the rift essence. I have the little pieces. So Woad stuff. I already have all the Woad stuff. I already have all the sky scale stuff. And I can trade the wallet for the actual items. Box of purified rift essence components. Oh, that's if you want to go back down the crafting. We can complement his armor. Not right now, thanks. Have a good one. Don't take forever. You're not here for long. Good advice. Titan Specialist Tante. What a sight. I'd love to explore and learn more about the Titans. While you're here, I've brought my inventory from Mount Barrier in case you want to trade. Okay. Greer's Blighted Torch. I would need a bunch more gating crystals. So these are just the raid rewards, right? Because I didn't play much of the raid, the Barrier raid. Oh my god, the Hound of Balthazar doggy. I remember when they put that in the gem store. This is cool. There's a lot of little details with these guys. Odjon Westar, welcome to Bava Nisos. If you come across any curious Masart remnants, I could trade with you. Just saying hello. Thanks for stopping by. The Mini Vigilant Geode. The Shard of Bava Nisos. So 20 more per account per week. Shit, so I missed the original 20. I could have got 20 last week, right? I'm sure there's a way to get discounted ones, though, right? A Gift of Titan Understanding. A Gift of Darkness, Scales. But look, we won't get into the Legendary crafting too soon. Mistgate Residue. And there's the Lightborn. So, oh my god, there are 1,000 research notes each. Plus a residue. Okay. So...
There's a pinch of honey in there. You'll like it.
Thank you. Should we interact? Oh my god. A fulfilling meal. A meal to bring comfort to those who protect Tyria. Time left 5 minutes. Sauce pot of soup. What did that give me? Anything or just the flavor? I mean, I'm alright with it just being the flavor. So we've got some vigil here. Some enemies. Are the NPCs defending us from them? No. Kind of had a bit of a dry top vibe there, you know, where you can see enemies firing the cannons, defending the 2 entryways to the packed camp.
Tired of guard duty. We should be on the front lines, not checking every crate bound for the Shiver Peaks.
Don't you know what we're on the lookout for?
They're going to talk about the Titan organs. We already know that.
Someone get me a report on the Mersat Tower
They're talking about the towers. Oh, there's a mirror here at the start. I wonder where this will take me.
Do you see? I can't close the rift, but I can try to interrupt the Jade's connection.
Let's see.
That should make the
You know
Jade
what's funny to me,
vulnerable.
right?
Once it's gone,
the last
you'll be
map
able to
and this
close
one
the
are
rift.
using those blue portals to teleport you to the events, when it really feels like that's something the Mastery could do. The mirrors.
Come to gawk at our once great city.
Oh, he just said, have you come to gawk at our once great city?
That was discourteous. I am Anthos, High Sower and Greenkeeper of Bava Nisos. As you can see, there is little left for me to tend to. But do not let me keep you. If we cross paths in the city, I would be glad for the company.
Oh, okay. So this is sort of, I think Arenanet kind of expect a lot of players to come here and see this as the opening view of the city immediately. Really interesting design, honestly. The mix of the city and like what feels like you're inside a giant organism. So hold on, there's loads of this running like amber kind of stuff, which is supposed to give the impression of like Titan organs, right, in veins and blood and whatever. So that is Titan material. So when we've been seeing this exact same effect on the trees and stuff, or in the sulfurous area way back when, earlier in the expansion, remember I remarked on it. Is that also sort of the same thing? That there kind of is Titan shit in the environment all over the place? Like the land is almost becoming Titan around here? Is that kind of the impression they want us to have? So Anthos, you're going to be like my my lore guide as we travel around, are you? So there's another mirror I could go in. I don't want to miss the dialogue though. Sorry, I'm looking at chat. Any instructions to me, guys, on this last thing before we can go off and we can do more events? We've got a whole squad here. Oh shit, no, sorry, we're stuck in this bubble, aren't we? Oh, this is weird. Look, there's a cypress sapling in the bubble. Oh, I don't have any gathering tools on this character. We should probably resolve that. That's funny.
The living come to gawk that I once lived.
Will this mirror just take me back then? Since I'm stuck, that's what I assume it's doing.
Let's see.
No, it's not taking us back. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. There's still like 4 books to read in the starter area, says Hardy. 4. Maybe they're high up. Oh, someone's pinged this over here.
Interrupted. It looks like teeth to me.
Drop whatever you were doing.
You think it eats?
Perhaps it did once, but now you can say.
It makes my fur stand on end. Being so close.
We can hope the operation ends soon. Then we return to our hearths.
Frylykin will never believe this. Maybe a sample.
Gutter your flame, young one. You must remain vigilant.
There's so much.
Yes, Mentor.
There's so much about people taking samples. And when they probably shouldn't be. Oh, nice. Somebody pinged one of the lore things. Okay, let's tag this event real quick here, though. So, help Brister preserve and sort the texts before they degrade completely. The words in this text do not need to be transcribed. There's Arcana. I'm not holding a text. There's pesticide dispenser there. Oh, it sprayed me with pesticide. History. So what? Oh my fuck, guys. Record of High Sour Anthos. This is the guy. Okay, but that's not part of the event. Romance, Cuisine, History, Arcana. What do? We interact with... Oh, I can get my masteries now. We have both of them done. Oh, there's too much going on. Hold on. Let's focus up here. What do? She's reading. Does she throw them and I need to catch them? Oh, there's one. Maybe? Was that one? Oh, here we go. Okay, I got a book, I think. How do I know what it was? No, I didn't get a book. She's definitely throwing shit. Do I need to stand here in the blue? And then eventually I'll catch it? Why are the telegraphs so weird? Okay, the blue is when... Oh, okay, I got one. Arcana, untold powers could be yours. So, use this enhancement and the effect placed on you to determine the type of issue affecting the text. So this is illegible. I should copy what I can at the text copying station. Dude, this is a good event. Look at this. I've not played an event like this before. This isn't like... And now it's clean.
You're doing good work, Commander.
And we can deposit it. I think what's happening is because I play with ground tails off, the small ones. Disable area of effect rings. I bet I see the rings now. I bet I can see where she throws them. Yeah, now the effect rings are on. Arenanet kind of messed that up. It's such a shame. That's such a good option but they very, very, very often make that mistake. Okay, actually, this isn't too bad. Snargle should take a look at this romance book. But what's the problem with it? It has a Masart curse. It has a lingering Masart curse. So how would I cleanse the curse? In the pesticide thing? I don't think so. Oh, there's a philosophy section there too. No, that did not cleanse the curse. Text copying. There's got to be like a curse breaking thing. This, maybe? Break curse.
Files empty. A job well done, Commander. You preserved a lot of important history today. Yeah, probably could have let on-torture and other advanced interrogation techniques crumble, but a win is a win.
I like that. Okay. Right, okay, so now we can do the reading. That's cool, because that progressed our personal story a little bit there as well. Yeah, that was good. Alright, record of High Sour Anthos. This is the ghost that we just met. My beds of spiderwort bloomed the other day, as expected. Hardy flowers they are. This is so interesting, right? A Masart that cares for growing things. A gardener Masart. What a fun idea for, like, a concept. Hardy flowers there. How much more depth this society is getting over time compared to just the lunatics they were in Prophecies. The apple trees in the upper grove are late to bear fruit for the second year in a row, with noticeable yellow burns on the trunk and leaves. There are similar signs of malaise in the gardens and topiary area planters in the central district. I've had to uproot and transplant several specimens now. I inquired for answers through the proper forum, but I was summarily rebuffed. This is cool. They've talked about the Masart forum quite often. Above my concern, they said. A low priority. The complete disrespect. My gardens cannot be the only ones that will. I will speak with the others. Later. Some time later. I'm at a loss. My mind is racing. I was tending to the lower orchard several evenings ago and was startled by a noise. A Codan and a human barreled through the trees, bloodied and bruised. Behind them was one of ours, their would-be handler. I caught them with a simple elemental spell to trap them partially in the dirt, but not before their pursuers set the trees ablaze with a wall of fire. The next moments are just flashes. I accosted him. He laughed in my face. I could smell the bloodstone residue on him, a prolonged exposure. Not even close to fatal, certainly for our kind, but enough to be intoxicating, impairing. I could hear the sobbing of the experiment's captives, half buried, wilting. He reached for them, and my mind went white hot. I had seen captives move through the city before, by my gardens even, always at a distance. This was too much, too intimate, too cruel. They suffered without care, like the plants in my garden, so I did what any gardener would do. I removed the rot that drove my Delgamore steel spade into his heart. Nice, talking about the materials and things. I buried the body when I came to. It was easy enough. The captives are in my home, washing before I tend to their wounds. What have I done? I'm writing from beneath the pines on the rainy shores of Janthir Gravis, watching the Codan and human trek into the morning mist, lantern light fading with each step. I do not know if they will survive, nor do I expect to know. I didn't ask for their names, it wasn't my place. And I didn't give them mine, not that they wished to know. I fed and supplied them well enough for a few days as they recovered. The bearkin was most grateful for that. It made them chattier. The human was quiet, haunted. She couldn't look me in the eyes, and I could not blame her. It was not until I guided them out of the city that I heard her speak, and then only to the other. I've washed my spade a dozen or times, but the bloodstain won't clean, and perhaps it shouldn't. Okay, this is another, like, decent Masart, but this guy got fucked up and killed by the Titans in the end because his ghost is here. So in the opening section, he's talking about how the shit's wilting. This is the effects of the Mistgate coming to the city, right? The mist burn, it's messing with people's minds, it's messing with the flora and fauna. The city is becoming corrupted, like physically fucked up by the mists here, right? I like this. This is a view of, like, almost like, let's say, a normal citizen among the Masart. He's distant to these big plans. He's distant to what Manakaz and Lazarus and all that are planning and have been doing. Anyway, so he's living his life, tending to his orchard. He's startled by a noise. It's a Codan and a human. They're being tortured. They're being messed with. It's like the people. It's like the corpse we found. And there's a Massart that's handling them. And the Massart that was the torturer Massart that was escorting them through the city. He burns the garden down accidentally or whatever. And in rage, Anthos murders one of his own. He kills another Massart. But this Massart he killed had been going mad because of the Bloodstone. So now Anthos is left with these prisoners. He heals them up, he helps them out, and he gets them to leave. So it was a woman and a Codan. What's their story? Do we know them? Do I remember anything from any of the lore where we heard about some escapees from Bava Nisos? I don't think so. Not that I know. Curious characters, though. But this gives us a sense of who Anthos was. We have a donation here. Thank you so much. It's from Ben. Thank you so much, Ben, with the 23 euros. Well, 24 euros, really. That's so generous of you, dude. Thank you. He says, I just want to thank you for all the years of content. And also, do you plan on making more Guild Wars 2 videos for the summer or in between the X-Packs? It's funny, actually. I was very close about 12 hours ago to making a normal GW2 video. Over in the Spud Discord, we have a channel for Guild Wars 3, right? Kind of just like discussion about what a Guild Wars 3 might look like, a Project Tyrion might look like, whatever. And I got to reading, so I was talking to some Spuds about it, I got to reading some of the old blog posts that Arenanet released at the 5-year anniversary of Guild Wars 1, okay? So it was years ago now. Arenanet was 10 years old. Guild Wars 1 was 5 years old. They were about to start doing press for the sequel. And, you know, they did that manifesto video and stuff. Anyway, around that time, they did an incredible series of blogs on the official website explaining what they thought about MMOs, what could be done better, differently. And they're amazing to read in retrospect. They are so cool to read in retrospect. And I was reading it and I was thinking, I'm going to make a YouTube video about this. I'm going to do a video. And what I was thinking of is... So last summer...
Much of this Mersat history is actively crumbling, and I can only sort and copy so fast.
In the last summer, I was... You guys might remember, I was doing some videos. It might have been Janthir Wilds launch. And I wanted to know how to take a live video and promote it to being a full video, so it wasn't buried in the live tab. And at the time, it wasn't possible. The feature was disabled. It wasn't working. But last night, I checked, and it is working. So I can, in theory, do a live video reading about the manifesto, have some back and forth with you guys in chat, and then promote it to a main full video and have the comments and everything going. And I wanted to test that workflow out. I wanted to try that. This was all about 12 hours ago, but I was very sleepy. I knew I needed to take a break. I needed to actually sleep and then, you know, be here for this stream. So I didn't in the end. But I do like the idea of doing that, and I may well. So yeah, anyway, thanks very much for the donation there. That's lovely. You remember those? You remember the little comics mostly? Yeah, the little comics were really good. Yeah, they did a lot of them. And they covered a lot of topics, not just gameplay, but lore too. And the wiki, what I was hoping for was... So some of them are on wiki, and what I was hoping was like a category on wiki that bound them all together. Like, okay, here's all the Arenanet blog posts in order. But that doesn't exist, so you have to sort of go digging to find them. But they are there. Anyway, so maybe look out for that once this is done. Who knows? Alright, well that event's back up. So that's Anthos. I like that story. What we got over here now? I keep looking up to the squad, right? And I keep just expecting people to filter out because it's so fucking boring in-game, standing around, waiting for me to maybe go to an event. But I'm just spending, you know, half an hour on each little document. I'm sorry, guys. Look, we've done a couple events. I mean, I could tag this again now. Should I? I mean, that would progress the story. So let's do that. Oh, well, here I am turning the goddamn option on again. Okay. Okay, this one is a history book. Sometimes history makes the present day seem not so bad. Sometimes, nearly all the time. What have we got here? Masat curse. Okay, we curse break over at this. See, it does say curse breaking station, but that text was not on screen for me earlier, was it? Oh, I actually have to do a thing. Oh, shit. Blue? Blue, yellow? I just guessed with that original blue. Blue, yellow, blue. There we go. And then we put it in the history pile. Over here.
The historical words of Apavi, the first citadel? Incredible.
Oh, shit. She has dialogue each time I do one of them. Oh, my God. I need to know. Okay, this time it's infested with book lice. Okay, that's pesticides for sure. Another history book. Will she say the same thing or a different thing? She didn't say anything. Interesting. Book lice. Is that a thing? So this one is cuisine. They already had unique tastes. They definitely had unique tastes. Text illegible. The text words are illegible. You should copy what you can here. So we do the writing. I like the way they've reused these mini games from different areas, but where they're appropriate. Like the curse breaking is, you know, like we've seen that in EOD. This is like from the painting events. Someone in chat just called this lazy, but at the end of the day, it's not about the individual fucking little button press moments. It's about, you know, the categories, where all the little flavor text for each little thing that I pick up, the fact she has dialogue for each one. They've blended together a lot of cool different ideas. You can't ask them to reinvent the wheel with a different skill-based minigame a fucking 1,000 times for every single little event in the history of the game. I don't think it's lazy at all. I think this is a good event.
Preserved a lot of important history today. Yeah, probably could have let on-torture and other advanced interrogation techniques crumble, but a win is a win.
I mean, Jesus Christ, what do you want? Do you want a full-fledged video game about curse breaking, do you? You know, how complex does it have to be? It's a tiny part of one event. It doesn't deserve that level of critique, I don't think. And that's coming from me. I'll critique some small fucking shit. Alright, here we go. So, High Researcher's record. And I'm going to mute again because I'm sure she'll start yapping. Alright. The Heart of the Obscure hums in my possession. My eyes flash. And the old Masat script on the scrolls shifts until it becomes familiar, readable. Hold on. Did we need the Heart of the Obscure to read the last one? High Researcher now. Dada was the High Researcher, right? High Researcher Dada. So I'm assuming this is from her. Let's read. Oh my fuck. It's so long. Wow. It says goodbye, Dada. And the Heart of the Obscure had to translate that as well. Oh, that's interesting, by the way. Old Masat script. Maybe we need the Heart of the Obscure for the old Masat script, but there's other forms of Masat writing that we don't need it for? So when the Heart of the Obscure is proccing, that we know we're dealing with the older generation of Masat, maybe something like that. Alright, anyway, so Orestes has been a steady anchor for me in these times, I admit. If anyone had suggested to me in my guildless years that we would be entwined as we are now, I might have lit their academy robes on fire. I was quite spirited by his measure, both of us having been born not long after the war with the Seers. Both of us old enough to know a time before gods and dragons. A kinder time. Hold on, I'm confused. So wait. Let's just... So, hold on. WP, when did the Seer Masat War end? That's my question to you. Without any new info, what do you know about that? They never put a date on it, did they? I had always assumed it was after the gods arrived for some reason. I guess I shouldn't make that assumption. Perhaps the war ended more around the penultimate dragon rising. So somewhere around the 10k mark rather than the 1k mark. 1k being when the gods arrived, 1,200 years ago. So I guess that war ended ages ago. So the war starts. Sidoni gets killed by Yagon and Spectral Agony. The war ends. Bava Nisos is built. Isgarin as a rogue lone agent kills Yagon. And now we're generally in a time of peace. Bava Nisos is here. The gods haven't arrived yet. The dragons have been asleep for a long time. There's kind of a golden period there for the Massat, right? Pre the arrival of the Six. Post Massat Seer War. And in this golden age, that's where Dada and Orestes were born. That's my understanding of the timeline here. I know! Thanks so much for the membership! What do I think so far? I'm loving it so far. I'm really enjoying it. Bit iffy with the Scepter of All stuff, but aside from that, I think it's been really good. I'm loving it so far. Okay. A kind of time. Shy, often withdrawn, not one to compete in the challenges of academia and arcana, Orestes has always had a fascination with history, and his progenitors humoured his curiosity, thinking he might rise to the upper strata of our people as some exalted ideologue, a thought leader. But I knew better. The things he studied, the tomes and scrolls he squirreled away about the war, about the previous cycle, they changed him. He chose to hide himself away in the archive. This is cool! I'll tell you, if there's one thing I love, right, it's when Guild Wars talks, even in a roundabout way, about previous dragon cycles. Not this one, but the previous one. And here, we're in a story right now where we're learning about a Massat who was researching that shit. He's learned about the horrors of the dragons. He's learned how doomed Tyria is as a setting. He's learned how nasty his own people are as a part of the Massat War. The things he studied, the tomes and scrolls he squirreled away about the war, about the previous cycle, they changed him. He chose to hide himself away in the archives of the Grand Anatheum, preferring to spend his time... That we went there in the previous patch. Preferring to spend his time teaching the new generations. Currently, he toils, troubled by his current clutch of students, worried that a few of the bolder ones are enthralled by some of the more zealous voices in leadership. He says one of his students, Manakaz, shows much promise, but he worries that he seeks popularity and power over truth and stability. I reassured him that time would temper his student's zeal. It did for me. This is great. I understand now why in the last episode I streamed, you guys who had already played this sort of had a clear idea about Manakaz as one of Orestes' students. Manakaz is one of the very new generation. He's Gen Z, right? He's one of these ludicrous, like, populist, brain-rotted... Okay, not Gen Z, sorry. I appreciate I might have some Gen Z viewers. Gen Alpha. Okay, he's a tablet kid, all right? He has no attention span. That's right. Juvenoia, baby. Let's have it. Okay, I reassured him that time would temper his student's zeal. It did for me. But of course, as we see now, as the commander sees, as Odrin Westar can see, that's not the case. Manakaz ended up bringing about the end of everything, in cahoots with the others. Okay, a short while later, I canvass around Orchard Terraces today, seeking discontent regarding reports of magical contamination from the Mistgate tests. Irksome that it pulls me away from my own research, but I like to keep a finger on the pulse of Bava Nisos. Can I just stop for a second? You know this thing where there's a gate leading to the mist and people are going a bit mad interacting with the mists, right? Or testing on the gate and it's causing this madness. Are we seeing a little bit of what happened in Nyos? Like the demons in Nyos, the crazy sort of debased primitive life forms that ended up there, right? Particularly among the lower demonic Ch'tel. Is that the natural fate of most mist entities? If the Titan invasion hadn't happened, and they just kept this gate around, would we eventually have seen Bava Nisos become quite Nyosian in the end? They said Tyria is a unique place in the mist. Is that the idea that we're protected from that somehow? And not necessarily because of the World Spire, but because of the Dragon Cycle and... You know, now we have Aurene regulating it. And when we talk about the gods forming their new garden, do they have a third solution? A solution that doesn't require a giant Aurene battery sleeping beneath the surface? I don't know. Anyway. Irksome that it pulls me away from my own research, but I like to keep a finger on the pulse of Bava Nisos, partially for Orestes' benefit. He prefers to avoid the city proper. It turns out at least one of the High Sours I spoke to was somewhat prickly about the subject. High Sour Anthos, perhaps? He's upset about his gardens and his plants. Should weather permit, I may ascend Mount Barrier soon. It's become a habit. One I have shared with Orestes many times. He wished to go tonight, but I advised against it. We will be attending another gilding for his students in the morning. This is lovely as well, because remember, in the Mount Barrier release, we read a note from the top of Mount Barrier, and it's Orestes looking out across the... and reflecting on how many happy days he spent looking out from across the mountain. And here we hear Dada talking about it. So these two are basically a couple, right? Like, this is what I'm getting. It's a shame he and Manakaz fell out. He says Seraph, one of the other young progeny, he says Seraph makes excuses for him, and Barak enables him, and a third. But I agreed with my entwined. Oh, they call themselves their entwined? That's lovely. There's something off about that one. Worth keeping an eye on. Yeah, and I mean, he ended up a psychopath, right? By the end. A short while later. I like this, by the way. Arenanet might have had the instinct, each of these bars, they might have had the instinct to put these as their own interactables elsewhere in the environment. But it's so much better that they didn't. Because it's kind of just padding to do that in a way. And all it does is it opens the opportunity for me to read them in the wrong order. Or like lose the plot because you don't have an archive thing in game. Yeah, I'm going to bitch about that more. Come on. So I like this. They're doing this more and more, I've noticed. That bar I only noticed really for one of the first times recently. And it's all over the place now. So, a short while later, the Scrying Eye and I absconded with received... Sorry, the Scrying Eye I absconded with received a vision from those at the Onyx Gate. Yeah, they said it. They said the Onyx Gate. I seriously hadn't seen them say that all the way throughout JW, but there it is. The door of Kamali is opened. If the Titans make it to the city, there will be mass panic. There has been no shortage of it. This is funny. Like, you think about it in Guild Wars 1 terms. This is like while we're between the two mission outposts. There's been no shortage of it since the executions of our kin began. My old eyes have borne witness to the Manakaz's ruin. Sorry, is that typoed? My old eyes have borne witness to the Manakaz's ruin in recent years. Isn't the there excessive? The arrogance, the mania, his golden form stained with the blood of hundreds to maintain the soul batteries, and still the Titans come. My mind reels at the thought, how could this happen after everything demanded of us, every concession we've made? I will depart for the library with what I can stow in reasonable time. Orestes will not want to linger, even for his remaining students. A bitter thought. They are innocent of this. Wow, so he just had to abandon them. I will stop at the sepulchres on the way, say goodbye to my fallen siblings, and ask them to forgive this ancient soul. I'll leave this record with them. We will slip away to Mount Barrier, and from there, who can say? Should anyone find this, think long and hard on these words and judge us as you should, as you must. Goodbye. Dada. Brilliant. This is, it's just rounding out what we already knew, right? Like, in a really good way. I love this. Honestly, guys, you can say what you want about Guild Wars 2's presentation, okay? There aren't enough cutscenes. The cutscenes look like Sims, you know, characters. Where have all the concept art cutscenes gone? Why isn't there enough dialogue? Some of the characterization can be a bit funky sometimes. You know, there's not enough screen time, there's not enough instances, it's too long of a break, 3 months between each patch. You can levy all these criticisms, levy them. I feel them too, alright? You can say what you like about the presentation of the story, but I'll tell you, the actual, this shit here about the fall of Bava Nisos, just as like a case study, I think is really good. I think it's some of the best lore that they've had. I really think, I love this story. All the ways in which we got to hear about the fall of the city. I think it's... I'm really all about it. I'm really enjoying it. Yes, I'd love a perfect world where also we're getting AAA long-form storytelling, you know, in the presentation too. But what they're writing, I like, you know. This is cool. It's very sad. It's tragic. It's exciting. We haven't heard anything about this, like, Giga Titan that ate the city, effectively. I'd like to hear more about that as we go forwards. Still got a lot of juicy soul stuff to find. Okay, so hold on. So back to you guys in chat. Hello. I was quoted as 4 books, right? Was that in general? We've had 2 here in this library area. Am I still missing more? Thing is, there's not an achievement here that's tracking them, is there? Where it's telling me, okay, you found 1, 2, 3, but you haven't found 4. Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. Personal Merchant Express. Now available on the trading post for only $9.99. Oh, and they don't... Oh, this was one of the QOL things, right? It just pops the menu now. It doesn't actually pop the NPC. Oh, no, that one pops the NPC. Hey? Okay, well, whatever. Buy. Orichalsum. Harvesting stuff. Oh, weird. I have an infinite... I don't know what the fuck why I have one, but not the others. There you go. There's my Orichalsum stuff. Let's have a quick look at what our sigils are. We have a sigil of force and a sigil of accuracy. Let's see what our ruins are. We have some ruins of the Dragon Hunter. And I'm playing the Guardian class, of course. Okay. It's a little light trolling. Just keep you guys on your, on your toes. Go up the stairs. Okay, I'm up the stairs. It's a wall. Vein pops in forehead. What about my tomes? Yeah, my tomes. At the Necropolis. Necropolis, Necropolis. I want to be very clear. I say Orichalcum, okay? Numerola. These enemies are interesting. Lots of shapes and sizes wandering around. There was a lot of very fervent debate last year about how the Cryptis were just repackaged things we'd seen before. How do you guys feel this year? People really fucking loved that conversation. Everyone was all about it. There you go. Janthir Wilds is out now. What do you think about the enemies this year, guys? Let me have it. I want to know. I know it was said that Fumarola Mini is actually quite small, but I still really want it. It's kind of interesting fighting this shit because it's not associated with anything. I'm guessing it's just going to keep respawning. I'll go up these stairs. Oh my god, look at everybody waiting for me here. Okay, thank you guys. I'll LOS the Titan in if I can. Alright, a well-kept collection of letters. Oh god. From to I from M. I don't know who these people are. Mabon, maybe? M for Mabon? Let's assume it's Mabon. Writing to I. Who could I be? Isgarin. Ah! I think I've nailed it. It's to Isgarin from Mabon. Okay, so it says, I. Your letter finds me well enough, although Alona this time of year is a bit hot for my liking. I suppose they may change soon enough, should events continue to play out as they have. I am left ill at ease by the threat of nightfall. Your orders are clear, but the choice to remain neutral has given no small few of our number pause. I confess, the deaths of so many do not sit right with me. We were prepared to defend Tyria from Epoch. Is a threat from Abaddon not equal? It fucking is, Mabon and Isgarin. It 100% is. This is about why the shit did the Wizard's Court not do anything during Nightfall, which is a gaping plot hole. So let's see how they paper over it. I confess, the deaths of so many do not sit right with me. We were prepared to defend Tyria from Epoch. Is a threat from Abaddon not equally dire, given all that's unfolded in recent years? More details to follow. And now here's the reverse correspondence to Mabon from Isgarin.
The two are entirely different.
Epoch is our responsibility. My responsibility. We ignore him not just at our peril, but at the peril of innocence. That bloated parasite would devour all of Tyria if he thought it might recapture our attention. But this threat is not of Epoch's design, and the misdemeanors of the Six are not ours to manage. From the moment they arrived, they've caused nothing but trouble. Such power should have never been given to those who wield it so lightly. Holy fuck, we're dealing with some big stuff here. Hold on. Let's finish the letter before I ramble. As for our current predicament, he may thrash against the bars, but Abaddon won't find easy means of escape. More to the point, he possesses a singular talent for fouling his own nest. Given time, it will reveal itself. And Mabon responds by saying, Isgarin, you know I trust your judgment. We must hope then that the time comes sooner rather than later. Alright, I just condescendingly said, let's see how they paper over it. I gotta say, I feel like there's some pretty good paper. That's really good. That's so effectively... Okay, so I was a bit worried as I was reading along it, right? So Isgarin's whole thing, right? Isgarin's thing is protecting Tyria from interdimensional threats, missed threats. And that's what Abaddon is. He's a missed threat. He should have been there at Nightfall. He wasn't because the story's new and blah, 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 blah. How do they account for it? Now, I was really worried in this early bit that it was just... Oh, he doesn't give a fuck about missed threats. He only gives a shit about Epoch. That's it. The World Spire, everything. It was all only ever always about Epoch. And he's not a defender of Tyria. He's just guilty about his own mistake with Epoch. Now that story, and maybe that's part of this, that's a big shift from what we had been led to believe before. A really big shift. I kind of like the story. It makes Isgarin a much more selfish character, a much nastier, much less virtuous character, and maybe that's fine. Maybe that's selfishness, and maybe that, you know, that very strict motivation, he's only about fixing his own problem. He doesn't really care about all of Tyria. Maybe that's fine, but it's a big shift, and I'm not sure I'm willing to stomach such a big shift hidden away in a random note like this here. So I was a bit worried as I was reading that that's what they were going to pin it all on. But that's not what they're pinning it all on. That's a part of it. But the other part is Isgarin has just thinks basically that Abaddon isn't too much of a threat. And they've got a really cool observation here that Abaddon got jailed up in the Realm of Torment. And he fucked the Realm of Torment up. By the time we get there as the Guild Wars 1 hero and we get there with Cormyr and stuff, it's insane. The place is debased and ruined. That's his own doing. And so Isgarin recognizes that and says... What's the quote? He won't find an easy means of escape. More to the point, he possesses a singular talent for fouling his own nest. Given time, it will reveal itself. And it's basically true, right? That Abaddon could have broken out in a way that was not gonna turn everyone against him. Abaddon didn't break out. He ended up getting just consumed by Cormyr. So Isgarin was kind of right that it wasn't something we had to intervene with. The Wizards Court didn't have to intervene. And he sort of saw that would happen. What I love about this, what I think is really cool, is this alludes to some kind of interpersonal relationship between Abaddon and Isgarin, right? Like this is a world where Isgarin spoke to Abaddon, not Abaddon the fucked up god that soiled his own nest, not that Abaddon, but Abaddon the god, the divine, Abaddon who walks among us, Abaddon who lived in Ara. Isgarin fucking knows that guy. He knows his character. I love it when Abaddon won't find an easy means of escape. It like speaks to me of this world where these characters were talking to each other, which is really captivating and really fun to think about. Yes, it's kind of messy, and as we've discussed in recent streams, it's very weird to have Isgarin with us all the time, and we can't just chat with him about this shit. And I want to be able to push that, but you know, let him, he can rebuff me, but at least give me a chance to be like, yo, what the fuck? And we don't get that chance, and that feels awkward. But all of that aside, I really like this. And then finally, okay. Guys, this is like some major world building here. There's a little revelation here that is huge. Like, I know I sit here talking, I've been talking for nearly 3 hours and blah, 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 right? Like, it's easy for things to blur together. But I'm serious right now. There's a revelation in this paragraph that is, like, bigger than, like, anything we've had since, like, the movement of the world. According to Isgarin. They've just sowed a little seed here. But I assume they've sowed it because they're going to grow it into something. Listen to this, ready? Isgarin says, this threat is not of Eparch's design. Nightfall is not an Eparch thing. The misdemeanors of the Six... he's so petty about the Six. Misdemeanors. These things fucked up the world, bro. The misdemeanors of the Six are not... Also, listen to him talking about the Six. And Abaddon is one of the Six. We don't get that very often, right? It was always the 5, the 5, the 5. And then when we start talking about the Six, it's Cormyr. But no. He's talking about the Pantheon of the Six, but the old Pantheon. And I like that. I enjoy that too. Anyway, the misdemeanors of the Six are not ours to manage. From the moment they arrived, they've caused nothing but trouble. Again, that's all really juicy stuff. I want more of that. Here it is. Such power should never have been given to those who wield it so lightly. That's a bombshell. The suggestion that the gods were given what they have, that they didn't earn it, that they took it from somewhere else. Now look, when we see Cormyr rising to become a god, we see she took that power from Abaddon, right? And when we see Abaddon, if you believe the data mining law, which technically isn't canon, but if you do, Abaddon took his power from Arachnia, right? So there's this idea that the power exists, it's just what vessel has it, right? So the idea that the gods are given their power maybe was always there a little bit, but this is in a very concrete way. Isgarin's kind of saying someone or something gave the gods their divinity, and they didn't. And in his opinion, they didn't earn it because they wield that power lightly. That's a huge thing to suggest. So Isgarin, what I want to do right now is I want to walk over to Isgarin and I want to say to him, bro, who gave the gods their power? What does he know about that? Why does he have that impression? Now, he could just be speaking generally. He might not have any clear ideas about that. But there's a certain something that he's alluded to there about the origin of the gods that the game hasn't touched on for years and years and years and years and years. They have kind of expanded. That is a... We are probing something there that the story hasn't gone into for a long time. So I think that's really interesting. Isgarin feels on some level that the gods were given their power, and undeservedly so. So what mechanism is that? Who or what is that? Anyway, yeah, really cool. And I think it's very good, even if we're not totally convinced by the argumentation here as to why these guys stayed out of Nightfall. It's a huge quality that the game at least addresses the topic. Just the fact that they address the topic, even if it's not totally convincing, I think is really good. That's awesome. I love that shit. That was awesome. Okay. So let's move on. So any more books? Just gonna look at the squad in game here and see if there's any markers, POIs, or players standing in suspect locations. Farwin says, I complain about not getting to spend more time with the Scions outside of the MSQ in FF14, but Guild Wars is so much worse about not giving us time with the main cast. Yeah, look, again, what they're writing is good, the world building is good, but the delivery of the main story is really lacking because there's not enough screen time. 14, look, a 14 structured story delivery would be so epic for Guild Wars. God, I would love that. I'll tell you what, guys, late this summer I'm going to be playing Heaven's Ward. Keep an eye on my channel. Hit that bell. Ring the bell. So you'll see. Seriously, when I play Heaven's Ward, you watch how fucking good the storytelling is in that, right? In the story delivery. The adventure that they give you. The time they give you the characters. The cutscenes. The weight to it. Guild Wars, it's like you're desperate for screen time once every 3 months. Anyway, And not all of it, by the way, is just about quantity. Some of it's about how the camera works and about how, you know, like, you can focus on this, or whatever. Let's not go into a massive thing about this. Let's see. People are standing around here maybe a bit. There's a guy near me here, or is he following me? It looks like some people are crowding around over here. Oh, there's another one. I have the bell rung, but you don't get notifications on the lives. Oh, that's really brutal. Okay, in all seriousness, if you guys do want to follow my content, because I know it's hard with the live stuff, if you want to be here live, seriously, just pause if you're watching this VOD, right? Pause the video. There's a link in the description to my Discord. You don't have to do one of those questionnaire things to join an onboarding thing. You don't have to speak to anyone. You don't have to do anything. Just join it. I have a channel in there called Live Notifications. You can right-click it and click follow, and it will tell you when I go live. Every day, manually, when I go live, I put the timing in on that. You will get the notifications. That's the best way to get it. I don't do notifications through Twitter. I don't do notifications through YouTube posts, which, by the way, they have a big update. You can, like, do forum threads on my YouTube channel now, I guess. If anyone wants to try that out, let me know. The best thing to do really is via the Discord. And I encourage anyone to do that. Don't be intimidated by it or anything. And if you want to interact a bit more, you can, but... Alright, what we got here? More between Isgarin and Mabon. Another well-kept collection of letters. So, sorry, what is this? Mabon was living here at Bava Nisos? How did these letters end up here? Did he take them with him? I don't think that can be right. I mean, Jesus, a bunch of correspondence from Isgarin that all these guys fucking hated. Remember, Isgarin assassinated Sidoni. Not Sidoni. Yagon. Isgarin assassinated Yagon. But that was... Yeah, no, and there was... So, I don't know what the timeline is here. Mabon was living as a double agent for a while, maybe? So... Oh, shit, there's a lot here. Isgarin. From Mabon. I'm sorry that Dagda destroyed Dwayna's astrolabe, but you can hardly blame her for reacting as she did. Her passion's understandable. Her friends have died. She feels abandoned. I would counsel patience in this matter, for we each deal with grief in our own way. P.S. I would also perhaps counsel removing any axes from the immediate vicinity next time you broach a contentious topic. Wow. Okay, so what do I think this is all about? Okay, so you got this thing with the Jotun, right? We get a lot of mixed messages about this, but the idea being that when the gods came, when Dwayna came, they gave magic out to the peoples of the world, and at some point it got taken away again. And this really fucked with the Jotun. Now, there are mixed signals. Sometimes the idea is the Jotun fell apart themselves and blah, 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 whatever. Anyway, Dagda here. I think Dagda's pissed off at this moment. Remember the Jotun are stargazers as well? They're really big about the cosmos, their observatories and stuff. So, the idea that the Jotun had been gifted an astrolabe by Dwayna. Dwayna had given the gift of magic. The gods had given the gift of magic, but they'd given actual trinkets too. The Jotun had this astrolabe. They had used it, and they had learned a lot about the cosmos and the stars and so on. Dagda had it in her possession. And then the Six... Because the Six were not on Tyria long. They just fucked with the status quo in a major way. They wielded power that they maybe didn't deserve, as Isgarin says. They messed with a bunch of stuff. They were very foolish with it in various ways. You can see Balthazar was a hothead, right? And, they just tampered, you know, and they messed with it. They're like the British, you know, fucking up the Middle East or something, right? And then they leave, and there's chaos, and so Dagda sees all of that, and she's angry about it, and she destroys the astrolabe in rage later. That's what I think this is all alluding to, and it's brilliant. It's got the Jotun thing about the stargazing there. It's touching on a lot of different pieces we already know about the setting. I think that's cool. So then Mabon says, responds. Sorry, Isgarin respond. And this is really good as well, because it's very in character for Isgarin, the impartial, the long-term thinker, to be like, for fuck's sake, you just broke this artifact. What are you doing? Right? I can imagine him condescending about that. I really can. That's very in his character, and I like that a lot. He's like, you twat, why, Dagda? Why did you destroy this? This was useful to us. And Mabon's like, oh no, I can understand. Maybe. And so then Isgarin says, I can't believe you're taking her side. P.S. noted. And Mabon responds again. He says, Isgarin, I've taken no one's side, as that would not be in the spirit of neutrality. Understand that I mean not to cast aspersions on your judgment. I only to wish you might show a little more faith in others and in the Astral Ward. You doubt yourself, and you fear you failed us with Eparch. But you were what held us together. Through it. You gave us strength to move forward, even as you bore the heaviest pain. In truth, I do not know what would have become of us if we had lost you that night, old friend. I lack your talent for leadership. What night? You mean the night the attack on the Wizard's Tower that we play in the Fractal? All we endured, I recall that memory, and then I see it writ large across the world as it continues to burn. I know your heart aches as mine over this senseless destruction. But I risk venturing down a familiar path, and we need not retread it while we remain so far apart. After all, I'd be denied the theatre of your delightful facial expressions. See here, there's this idea he's very theatrical and like OTT, but no, we're just talking about his facial expressions here. I don't know what they're talking about. What does he mean that night? That's what I want to know. I'm assuming. But I don't know. We were talking about the destruction of this astrolabe. Are we talking about something else? Something about around the Exodus? And this paragraph here, all we endured, I recall that memory, and then I see it writ large across the world as it continues to burn. What senseless destruction is he speaking about? Dude, Janthir Wilds and Secrets of the Obscure are so entwined, the two storylines. BRSB says, yeah, I think it was the Night Vass and then were killed in the Cryptus attack. That night must be the Lonely Tower Fractal, but the fallout post-Exodus was likely the source of Dagda's anger. Yeah, okay, we're all on this. Most people seem to think we're talking about the Fractal at the moment. Okay. So then Isgarin responds again. This is really good. I'm so happy Arenanet bundled them all together. He says, Mabon, no, you won't weasel your way out of having this conversation. I know you, Mabon. And while batting your lashes may work wonders in your little social club, the Mesmer Collective, you'll find its charms quite lost on me. Faith! Only a fool would keep faith in those who endlessly repeat their mistakes. The lesson is harsh, but they must learn it. What won't help is aid offered at every turn without question. This is hardly the first outbreak of strife in Tyria, and we both know it won't be the last. Your misguided pity would have us risk everything, simply to spare them the sting of consequences. Shall we intervene in every Tyrian conflict henceforth? Arbitrate every petty land squabble? Silence every deluded fanatic? Or do you propose we politely decline should a petition fail to adequately compel us? And Mabon says you're being very dramatic. He says, I'm never dramatic. Okay, I'm beginning to get a bit more on board with this, alright? I'm seeing the bit of the back and forth. And then Mabon says, Isgarin, as much as I'd enjoy exploring that statement, I just received word that mortals have entered the realm of torment. So we are still talking about Nightfall here. I was getting that vibe just now. It's because there's time jumps, right? This first passage, to me, is Dagda mad around the Exodus. The gods, or King Doric's pilgrimage and the creation of the Bloods, the reforging of the Bloodstone, right? That first paragraph is that. She's pissed about what happened to the Jotun. She's pissed with the gods about what happened with the Jotun. Then there's a response. I can't believe you're taking her side. But But this is a very direct... This is one conversation. Why is Dagda pissed around nightfall? Dagda's friends have died. She feels abandoned. To me, that's really about the other Jotun, but maybe it's something that happened closer to nightfall? Isgar in response says, I can't believe you're taking her side. Mabon says, no, I'm not taking her... Okay, no. Wait. I think it's all about the Lonely Tower, right? Her friends have died. We're not talking about other Jotun. We're talking about Varsanakim dying. That didn't happen around nightfall, did it? Wait, does the Lonely Tower take place during Guild Wars 1? Surely not. Surely that's not the timeline. Why can't it be? I'm asking myself. Okay, let's take it all as the Lonely Tower. Dagda's friends die, i.e. Varsanakim at the Lonely Tower. She destroys Dwayna's astrolabe. It's not about the Jotun. It's not what I was talking about before. It's not about all that cool shit I mentioned. It's just she's just raging and she just breaks something. Right? Isgaren's pissed she broke something precious. Mabon says, no, look. Don't worry, you are our leader, blah, blah, blah. I lack your talent for leadership. All we endured, I recall that memory. He's talking about it like it's a distant memory. All we endured, I recall that memory, and then I see it writ large across the world as it continues to burn. I know your heart aches as mine over that senseless destruction. How long ago was it then? I know you, Mabon. While batting your lashes may work wonders in your social club. See, this is fairly recent history because he's got the Mesmer Collective. Faith. Only a fool would keep faith in those who endlessly repeat their mistakes. The lesson is harsh, but they must learn it. What won't help is aid offered at every turn without question. This is hardly the first outbreak of strife interior. And he's talking about nightfall at this point, right? And we both know it won't be the last. Your misguided pity would have us risk everything, simply to spare them the sting of consequences. Shall we intervene in every Tyrian conflict? Arbitrate every petty land squabble? Silence every deluded fanatic? Or do you propose we politely decline should a petition fail to adequately compel us? You're being dramatic. As much as I'd enjoy exploring that statement, I just received word that mortals have entered the realm of torment. While I will try to respect your decision and avoid participation, I am taking upon myself to observe the event. While the death of my people was inevitable, I don't want to see another city razed as Bava Nisos was, whether by the hand of the Titans once more or by Abaddon himself. I hope we face mercy, not chaos. P.S. Please do not engage with Dagda until you are both of calm mind. I'm very confused. I don't understand what pissed Dagda off so much around the time of Abaddon, of Guild Wars 1. Here you go. See, yeah, so Cossage says the Lonely Tower was 635. Nightfall is obviously 1075. It's like half a thousand years later, not a century. Is that a millennia? Half a millennia later. These were not nearby. What pissed Dagda off? The dancing bear in the background is truly a mood. Yeah, I'm loving you guys in the tonics. It's adding so much having people here. Do you remember in the big playthrough stream we did before AOD, we had people always acting like NPCs and stuff in the background? It was so good. I gotta say, guys, it's so awesome to be able to play this and have an active community to talk about the story with as we go and stuff. So what do you think, guys? Seriously, what do you think? Oh, there's a typo for Abaddon, is there? Did they spell him wrong? Half a millennium, sorry, yeah. Because what you guys got, hopefully, you know, we got some lore hounds in chat here. But what you got to understand is Guild Wars 1, during the Nightfall stuff, there weren't any Jotun written into the setting yet. The Jotun first appeared in the setting in Eye of the North, which was decidedly after the 6 stuff. Eye of the North was all about establishing the dragons and so on. So, and that's when we first saw Jotun. There were no Jotun in Prophecies. There were no Jotun hanging around Janthir. There were no Jotun hanging around Nightfall. Jotun have basically nothing to do with the Abaddon storyline. And yet here, we've got Dagda bitching out about Dwayna. Maybe it's something to do with... Maybe it's everything. So at the end of Nightfall, right, you're alone, you're lost in the realm of torment, you have absolutely no idea if you can even beat a god. You're on your own. And the other gods, the 5, who caused this mess, have done nothing the entire time. You've been abandoned. It's one of the best beats in all of Guild Wars storytelling, in my opinion. And you're just like, what the fuck? We're doing this on faith alone. And finally, at the last hour, when you're in the Forgotten when you're in Abaddon's Forgotten Temple, you beat the Lich and Shiro. You're there in the temple, and finally they show themselves to you. Their avatars do, and they say, "Hey, don't worry, you can do this. You're mortals. You can become gods." That's basically what they say. And they say, but look, we're not here anymore. We're leaving. And that's kind of like the Exodus. When I did my episode of the Let's Play on it, I titled the video The Second Exodus. Because the gods were kind of already withdrawing before that moment. But that's kind of the big moment where they're like, look, you're on your own now. Tyria's your own. Have fun, right? And maybe Dagda's reacting to that moment. Maybe that final moment of them being like, yeah, you're on your... And Dagda sees that moment somehow. I don't know how she does, because she's not at the temple there, right? But maybe information leaks out somehow. I don't know. But also that scene, that's like when we're already in the realm of torment. And Mabon's talking about us just arriving now. So I don't know what Dagda's pissed about. I don't know what that is. Meta event starting very soon. Oh, that's true. Shall we do that? Livia's contemplating taking things into her own hands. I'm confused by this one, but again, I like how we get to see how the different stories weave together, and I enjoy it for that reason. Destroy the charged Masart Jade. Alright, let's turn dialogue back on here. And I'm watching chat quite closely. Shall we do the meta together, guys? An actual reason to be in the squad. This isn't going to be like a... Bava Nisos... sorry, not Bava Nisos. Janthir Sentries type situation. Where it's spoilers for later, right? We can just do it. We can enjoy it straight away.
It's working! You've nearly got it!
Yeah, and Waiting Sorrow left before the searing. Yeah. I can't believe we read books all the way until the meta starts. Had the meta just ended when I got to the map? Is that it? Did we spend the entire cooldown here at the opening base?
Quickly close the rift!
Oh, this is just a straight up rift. See, rifts are weird as well. Like, what the fuck? Why is there so much focus on this mist gate when there are just rifts opening anyway, casually spitting titans all over the place? How does that work? I don't understand that either. Isn't that messy as fuck? The whole story is about the mess gate, and yet there's just rifts opening anyway. There are gates, aren't they?
You've done it! Quickly, close
I really
the
like it when VTuber List turns and kind of looks at the gameplay.
It worked!
Oh, that is cool.
I was right. We did the right thing. When I began learning magic, my mentor warned me. You will see more of what is, and to look away is
okay, I'm sure that's really interesting, but I'm going to go over here now.
Grateful beyond words.
Livia's patience runs out in 30 seconds. She's contemplating taking things into her own hands. That's a great name for the countdown.
Commander,
Livia's patience running out.
Marching on the Titan. We should head that way.
Oh, what way? Where is she? She's there. But she's not actually clickable, which is really weird. That's very strange, isn't it? It's not player, is it? I mean, where are the rifts leading? Yeah. WP, remember Livia Ludo can have dialogue, but it can get messy when there's combat. Okay, because I got to read the dialogue, don't I? Because she doesn't have any. Wayfinder, we must act and soon. The longer we delay, the narrower our window becomes. The Titan must be dealt with quickly and with lethal force. The Titan. So hold on, is this Mega Titan got a name? We've waited long enough, she says. It's time to push in and sever the Titan's hold over this domain. Anyone else that comes along for the ride will just have to catch up. Alright, yeah, that's it. We're men of action, guys. We don't just read lore, we play the game. Legovo's starting to fuss. Let's see how it feels about dispelling that magic barrier up ahead. Right on cue, Titan spawn up front. Kill the spawn closer to me if you can. I'll need the residual magic to fuel the Scepter's magic. Okay. So what do we got? Titan spawn energy collected. Power Livia's spell with Titan spawn energy. Are we going to bring down this barrier that I otherwise use the mirror to get through? Dun, 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 dun. WP Pro Gamer doesn't care about lore. I mean, you joke, but a lot of people genuinely, I would say kids, feel that way. Reading? I just want to see big number. The mist gate can stay open all the time. I guess my interpretation is a little bit like, you know how Kilbron opened the door of Kamali and then had the mini portals that propagated the Titans across Tyria. They entered Tyria at the door of Kamali and then they propagate across Tyria through his portals. I guess I kind of feel like the rifts are like that, right? The mist gate opens, letting them in to the realm, and then these rifts are propagating them across the territory. But it's weird though, because last year the rifts were going to Nyos directly, which... So it's odd that last year they act one way and this year they act another way. It's a very convoluted, dense story they've got here. And you'd think that it wouldn't have to be, considering this was a clean slate with Seekers of the Obscure and Janthir Wilds. They could have kept it pretty basic. Right, okay, Livia speaking. Once we're inside, the Titan will purge us from his body. Try to purge us from his body. That is, if we can't deal a serious blow against it. I have an achievement. Take out one of the Bava Nisos Titan's vital organs, it says. Livia says, looks like we have reinforcements after all. Late but not unwelcome. Who is it? Who's our reinforcements? It's Councillor Ludo. Lady Livia, as a representative of the Alliance, I am to remind you that I cannot condone any unsanctioned actions.
And so the good Councillor has volunteered to come along and sanction them.
He sounds like a Coden. Right? Doesn't he sound like a Lowlander? Excuse you, Livia says. It's just like a lease to hand out grunt work to her. Don't you outrank her? Fourth Veil?
Well, she knows the score. I am here out of respect for Maban's memory, and...
Oh, that's funny, he outranks her. To keep tabs on the Scepter and me. Unavoidable, I suppose, but for now... Oh, he does have a name. Surveyor Saxum. We have a Titan to knock down a peg or two. I like, Aaron's prediction at the start of this expansion was that there would be between 2 and 6 Titans. We're at 4.
Yes, of course. Allow me.
Fourth Veil, if you would. And Ludo says, alchemy, this is grotesque. After what the Massat did to my people, says Livia, I'd say they more than earned this. Yeah, in a lot of ways, Livia shouldn't give a fuck about this, right? I mean, well, no, she'd be excited to... I guess I'm in this guy's turtle. God, I was so scared he was going to throw me in the pit. The Scepter, it... screams! I need time to calm it!
Raven's Wall! What manner of Titan is that?
No Titan fool! He spit on us! Their souls were tethered, forged in wicked flame. This is the form of our vengeance.
It's just like Gorseval.
Oh, cool. The commander fucking says it. That's awesome. Ludo says, I don't care what you are. You're in our way.
Magic is cascading from it. Avoid those shockwaves however you can.
Okay, I'll let the pilot do that. Okay, I guess we'll talk about the Gorsable thing. I like this. I already discussed in a recent video that, you know, they've used raid bosses in open world before. Wing 1's ancient, it's power crept to fuck, it's not some magical, amazing, secret thing that only raiders are allowed to experience. And the story fits. In fact, I'd just like to point out, okay, when I saw Gorsable in the trailer, one thing that I was going to mention in my trailer analysis, I never ended up publishing the video because I thought it wasn't worthy enough. But back when Wing 1 came out, I don't have any timestamps for you, but back when Wing 1 came out, there was a lot of conversation. I love how he has the same animations. This is like being in the Lonely Tower and seeing Deimos animations again, but just sort of in a different, you know, difficulty level. Back when Gorsable came out, we talked about Gorsable being like a Titan. You know, Titans being amalgamated, fucked up souls. Gorsable in many ways was, you know, it was a common thing to talk about. So to have it here in this release, I think is excellent. Really cool idea. Lextalion's trapped you and is attempting to rend my soul. Breaker's Bar, I think that said. Ludo says, it's pooling energy, stop it. So it's called Lextalion. So this is a Massart Gorsable? So there's loads of Massart souls in there? Or is it just one soul? I think it's loads, the way it was talking. Called Lextalion the Merciless. That's kind of a Massart naming scheme it has, which I think is quite fun. It says many become one. I couldn't really understand what it was talking about. It was a bit too mystical. Shit, I'll tell you what, guys, I was reading the dialogue, pressing skill 5, thinking I'd TP through that animation. I also didn't expect it to one-shot me. We are no Titan. They spit on us. Their souls were tempered, forged in wicked flame. But this is the form of our vengeance. I think what they're saying, right, is the Massart here, this is a fuck ton of Massart bulked together into a ghost amalgam like Gorsable. And what they're saying, right, is we call it a Titan. And they say, no, we're not a Titan. The Titans spat on us. The Titans' souls were tempered. They were forged in a foundry. They were forged in wicked flame. But we're not forged in wicked flame. This is our own thing. We are vengeance. That's basically how I translate the mystical sort of dialogue there. And it's cool. So the meta is a Gorsable, is it, basically? So here's the question now. What do we call this species?
You got me.
Yeah, and I have absolutely no problem. Like, these are cool animations. You know, even back in Season 3, we immediately had fucking Veil Guardian appear in an instant in the open world. We had Slothazor in Ember Bay. You know, I was joking in was it in Discord or was it on the stream? Oh, it was on the stream. I was joking that, you know, they shouldn't be able to use White Mantle, right? Because Flamethrower White Mantle was Sabbather. No, I mean, it's pretty silly. You think it's a Gorsable species? I guess that's a question for how the wiki wants to characterize things as much as anything else. Oh my god, I keep using the sword, and I keep using Spear 4, and then it fucking moves. Oh god. Also, I keep countercasting Fear My Wrath. I don't really have anything for these break bars on this build. It's actually insane to not... Oh no, I do. The 3 is blind, and the 5 is weakness. Seriously, is that it? I have nothing. It's been a long time since I've played a Guild Wars 2 character that doesn't have any meaningful break bar contribution at all. Not even one button. We get a mauve on Advancing Strike. They're all soft. Sorry, I'm reading the dialogue here. Livia said it's gathered strength from the ghosts. Hit it harder. Oh, I'm doing it, believe me. So is that just the pre? Banks, Livia, and Ludo are discussing their next steps. So the title is called Savers Sexton.
Suffer this place no longer. Oh,
well, we is lucky.
My son will envy the tales I tell of this fight.
And Ludo says, Livia, are you? And Livia says, I'm fine. From here, we split our forces 3 ways. Okay, 1 NPC for each lane, I guess. 3 lanes? Counselor, you take the southern route. Fourth Vale, the northern passage, which leaves the center to me. So she is getting a bit injured by the Scepter. The Ward have identified defensive barriers blocking our access to the Titan's organs. We can expect heavy resistance. And that is why I procured some heavy firepower, courtesy of Empress Inn. Warclaws should come in handy too.
And our comms are too, yes? Alliance Command told me not to futz with mine.
Correct. We'll keep in touch and adjust support accordingly as we push further in. My god, this is getting very Dragon's Endy to me. Right? 3 lanes, 3 NPCs, have 3 chats. Which way do we want to go? Which lane do we want to see? Any recommendations in chat, guys? And make it quick, because obviously it's going. I kind of want to stick with Livia in the center. So that's my instinct. WP, you met the sun in EOD? Oh, did I? So should we grab the bee? I'll talk about the masteries and the beehives and stuff going forwards. I'm going to stay with Livia. Yeah, lots of people are saying center, middle. Okay, guys. Middle is the best. Pre-warning, there's dialogue after the meta. You only have a short time to get before you're kicked out of the center. Oh, amazing. Super Sploof, you're a legend. Thank you. I will definitely bear that in mind. Okay, where is she? Oh, it had like an intro thing, like in Dragon's Stand. I'm in position now, conjuring a portal. I don't want to risk using the Scepter again before we reach the interior chamber. Oh, sick. We get some of the good, some of the classic raid music here as well. I love these songs. Is this the Escort song? It might be the Sabbather track, actually. I'm not very good with that sort of stuff. Go on, guys. Tell me in chat, which raid song is this? Actually, I remember listening to the HOT soundtrack. They had a lot of versions of this, right? Different editions. It might even be another new edition. Who knows? There's also 2 major books to read in the center, WP. Don't forget to look near the Mist Portal. Oh, God. We might not be able to get it all at once. This might be just like Dragon's End, you know? Trying to get all that Aurene dialogue. The son is Novice Bengston, who was in Kaineng Library. He theorized Suwon's blue orbs were gifted across Tyria to ancient races that they might survive Dragon Rises. I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, that's good. Alright, Livia says, use your Warclaw chains, the Canthan siege turtles that we've provided, and whatever else you have. I'll keep the portal open. Okay, so we're breaking the Titan membrane. Oh, I see. So it's a little bit of Gyala Delve here, really. But I'm okay. I'm okay with that. More reasons to use old masteries. Unfortunately, I have no ammo, and this guy's just spamming the auto, so I'm going to get off of this. Maybe I can use one of the NPC ones. Do they recharge ammo quicker? Oh, actually, I can't ride in the NPC ones. Maybe a player's already in one? Well, we'll do Warclaw then. That's cool, seeing the Warclaw and the turtle come together, really. Hold on, I can't attach. Do I have my rope on it? I don't. Weird, I can do so little damage. I can only do about 25. In fact, we hit 0 there. I like Judge's intervention as the sunbreak. The cooldowns come down a lot recently. But it can put you in weird spots. The big issue with it used to be that it was like on a 45-second cooldown. I guess I'll just fight and defend these guys. Livia says, the Titans spawn a swarm on us in greater numbers as the barrier weakens. Don't let them overwhelm us. We're almost through. I need to remember that on this build, by the way, because I'm Virtues, I can spam the shit out of F1. I haven't really been doing it. I did it in like one fight. Look at it. Look at F1 just coming back. Every time one of these Titans dies, it could be another F1, another blind, another burn, another packet of might for people. I say all that and now it's not refreshing at all. Because we're not getting kills. These ones are big and tanky. There you go. See, we get double casted there. I love the way that Guardian is set up trait-wise. I really do. I think the whole Virtues line and how it augments the F3s is just awesome.
Wayfinder, need you at the Alliance staging grounds.
Especially when
Bring only
comboing with the Elite
yourself.
Specs.
I found something and have a feeling it'll be delicate enough on its own. Don't need anyone stirring the pot.
Understood. I'll head there now.
Okay, that's story dialogue, so don't worry about that. Don't worry about waiting sorrow right now. Livia says the barrier's down. I repeat, the barrier is down, or our barrier is down. So in we go. This is kind of all. I'm not enjoying the environments as much as I'd want because my eyes are glued into the bottom left. But it is what it is. Okay, so we're at a heart, the heart integrity. See those nodules connected to this organ? They're brimming with the Titan's magic. If we destroy them, the organ should fail. I like this. This feels new and different, right? Like the weird intestinal... Like, this feels very new to me here. Look at this crazy organ thing. Okay, so look, one of the big criticisms I've seen of Absolution, and I totally get it, and I think it's fair, is that... you know, people are looking for grounded, tangible exploration on Tyria. That's what made the first two maps so good, and to an extent the third map. But when you get us into these really crazy metaphysical landscapes, it loses it again. I think people aren't looking for this kind of experience right after Nyos. And I think it's a misstepped idea, maybe. I think it's probably easier to make environments like this because you can just sort of slap a bunch of shit around and... Anyway, good. The organ's starting to falter. Destroy the other nodules. Once they're gone, I'll use Legavo to do some damage of my own. Rifts and more of those turrets. Mount up on your Warclaw and take them out. So, how's the overall scheme going? Oh, we're in the big central area. They're fighting a boss and they're fighting a boss. Is that like Ura and Greer style shit over there? Oh my god, if that's a mini Titan and that's a mini Titan, that would give us 6. All told. See, this is kind of crazy as well. Who cares about the gate if there's this giant big boy here? I don't know if he's actively creating new ones, though. Here we go. Another Fulgurous Macrophage. Oh, God. Can I actually be safe? Stand... Oh, my God. I think that... Oh, no. I think it break bar broke. That was an interesting telegraph. Different sort of ground pattern. Dodging that. I think I dodged too early there. Throw up an Aegis just in case. Not really used to these spear autos. Okay. I missed that with the dash. That was pretty cringy. Yeah, the 3 feels pretty good with the spin and then the other spin. They were both big hits. Oh, you know what this feels a bit like as well? It feels a bit like Dragonfall, hitting all the different bits of Kraut. This is a vascular nodule. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Something hurts. My meditations are gone. I'm backing out. This music's different, isn't it? You're making good progress. Keep it up, she says. Who wouldn't want to come with Livia and Legavo here? This is clearly where the main action's happening. I'm sad we didn't see the city as Saul did. Yeah, I get that. I get that. There is a realist in me, though, that's like, okay, look, the game isn't funded in a way that they could really pull that off beautifully. So leaving it in our imaginations is kind of a value. I'd rather... I like what they did, in as much as I don't really believe they would have done it as good as I would want it to be done, right? Because, you know, at the end of the day, they're mini X-Packs, blah, 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 blah. So living in the real world, knowing that, I'm happy they didn't, like, ruin it, right? They did something else, which is cool in its own way. And I still get to dream of the true... Also, by the way, there's this... If we really want to cope, there is a sense of other cities out there, you know. Bava Nisos was only constructed after the war was over. Yeah, the gold wasn't... The lake wasn't golden, it was drained. There's something to be said for if we had seen what it was truly like in a concept art-y cutscene. Like, I was talking about this on the Spud Discord last night. Like, the last good... and I mentioned it to Kerry just before streaming this today. The last good cutscene, in my view, with this whole game, the last really good one, was the intro cutscene for the Ice Fruit Saga. Right? The trailer for the concept art, that was really good. Now, if we had seen Bava Nisos depicted in its prime in a cutscene like that, and then when we finally explore, we experience this, that would be a kind of a cool contrast. But obviously... You know, I don't know if they have the money to make loads of cutscenes like that. Okay, Savor Saxon roared. Livia said, "That's the last one. Leave the rest to me. Legavo, the binding of wills. Strike at this abomination." Where is she? She's there. Ah! There. The Titan shouldn't recover anytime soon. Oh, the metas really struggle when there's no voice acting, eh? I hate to ask more of you, Commander, but for our other forces, could you support if you're able? All barriers have been breached. The Tyrian Alliance assaults the organs themselves. His body flushes with spectral agony in 26 minutes. So, the meta is still going? The northern organ's been rendered inoperable. Other organs may need my assistance. Maybe I wait. So is there lore here already, or is it only after the organs break? I assume we fight an actual... Oh, we're done! He's been critically wounded. All the lights and shit have turned off. A lot of the animations have stopped. It looks like it's stalled and stuff. What the fuck's up there? WP, you get optional dialogue in 2 minutes once the other organs are done and once Livia has addressed the other ones. Optional dialogue with Livia. Fuck, I've lost her. Where was she? She was standing near, like, this or something. Oh, God, she's gone. Is she... Sorry, someone was typing in game there. Now the meta's over. Wait here 2 minutes and then the story dialogues. Oh, somebody pinged me the Mist Gate. That's the Mist Gate. I was going to walk over there. Oh. I think it looks too much like all those Astral Ward portals that we've been going in. I imagined it like... I was imagining it rectangular for some reason. The fact it doesn't look... shaped how I imagined it is kind of irrelevant, right? But oh, that is the gate. It kind of has like the same celestial colors that we saw in the Wizard's Tower, right? Near their big portal thing. Read books near gate before Livia speaks. Shit. Livia addresses the group in 1 minute. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. Scroll of memory. How long is it? It's a bit long. I can't read this in 60 seconds. You touch the scroll, of words are torn from the page. Your vision fills with a blinding vortex of sand and glass. Shadowy images pass by you as a voice fills your mind. Greetings, Miri, daughter of Elka. This is from Gossalish. That sounds like a Forgotten. I think it is a Forgotten. I don't know who Miri is. We have never met, but perhaps your mother spoke of a wayward friend over these tumultuous centuries, and how she and I last held hands at the gates of Aparvim before the war with the Seers began, even earlier as we watched our kin fell to the undead dragon's blight. Or perhaps not, as these long-held memories of mine are nothing more than outlandish tales to you. Either way, I shall spare you further rambling. I bring auspicious tidings from the ever-shifting sands of the Crystal Desert. This is a Forgotten, talking to the Messart. I do so with conviction, out of fondness for your mother's companionship, despite my loyals to Joso, Escher, and Glint. In the year 272 of the Mavellian calendar, a series of prophetic visions were spoken and transcribed. A decade has passed, and many have already attempted to interpret their meaning, seeking out they're talking about the Flameseeker prophecies, seeking out sources of divining magic to learn the truth, but with little success. And so I leave you this transcription of the prophecies to you, Miri, for those adept with your kind's enchanted eyes. Should you wish to respond, cast the reverse enchantment on a separate page. A trivial task from Messart, I expect. Holy fuck, this is the... Gosselish was telling the Messart about the end of their kind. This is the missive that told them about the Flameseeker prophecies. That's epic. I want to talk about it more, but Livia's speaking. She says, good, you're both here. The Mistgate, the connection's in flux.
A report to the Countess will be similarly optimistic.
The Titan isn't dead.
Worried, to say the least.
She says the Titan isn't dead. I can feel it. There's no telling how long it will take to recover, if it can. Ludo says, even if it's temporary...
Something you and Mabon had in common, it seems.
We've proven it's possible to take this chamber. That will help mollify the Alliance in the short term. My report to the Council will be similarly optimistic. Livia said, despite what you may have heard, it wasn't my intention to create bad blood, as much as I love a little drama. And she says, okay, so for now we'll hold the Mistgate as long as we're able to. So I can interact with her for extra dialogue. But then there's also this incomplete scroll of memory. I hate that I'm rushed when I finally get to the Mistgate. I fucking hate that I'm rushed right now. Okay, this is from Miri. Let me just have a look here. This was to Miri. So this is the reverse correspondence, I guess. The reverse enchantment on the scroll is incorrect, but many of the runes are still present. The scraps nearby indicate it took a few tries. My mother's gleam. She held no closer friend in the years after your parting, not even my father. It was by our cunning and mastery we survived the war. I love this. This is the Messart Forgotten Alliance, right? And their destruction at the hands of Zaitan, seeing that they forged inroads and were friends. It was by our cunning and mastery we survived the war. The seers were incessant, and it took drastic measures to put an end to things. I try not to linger and regret, but even I wince at the echoing screams from the valley. Jesus. They're talking about the valley in the previous patch, right? With all the choristers. They're talking about the end of the war. It took drastic measures, the invention of spectral agony, to put an end to things. I try not to linger and regret, but even I wince at the echoing screams from the valley. Many of our preeminent arcanists have done extensive meditational scrying on Glint's prophecies. Resulting visions have been inconsistent, but also disturbing. Revelations of annihilation. Our city drowning in blood and swallowed by the earth. Our leaders say it will take time to delve further and act accordingly. They're suspicious of the source, all the same, but I harbour no misgivings of you, Gosselish. You have provided us a great service, as troubling as our findings may be. Worry not, we will do whatever is necessary to persist. Count on it, Miri. Wow, this is such a good story, right? Like, Miri kinda did something good. Not Miri, Goss kinda did something good. But if Moss never sent this message... The Messart never would have known about any of this. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy. None of this would have happened. Gosselish is the harbinger of doom here. And it looks like they came in friendship and companionship, but, you know, did they know? The Mistgate. I gotta walk up to it, guys. I'm sorry. I know there's dialogue. Oh, fuck. What if it teleports me somewhere? And we miss the Livia dialogue. Ah. Alright, let's rush. Let's do Livia first. Here we are, Wayfinder, none the worse for wear. It would seem the Alliance's concerns regarding the Scepter were exaggerated. Whatever your opinion on the matter, I appreciate your support. If that's really how this story concludes, I really like that. There was a lot of fuss over nothing, but maybe later that will come to stab us in the back later, you know, next Mini-X back. Only 3 months away, guys, you got to think about it. Whatever you... okay, so you were right, the Scepter. She says, all things considered, it could have been much worse. Could it? Isgaran will be cross with me for a bit, but he'll see the necessity in time. Not that I'm used to working with self-important genius types. I hope she's not counting the Guild Wars 1 player in that. One of these days, I should tell you about my work with Gad. He was, well, exhausting. Oh, believe me, I know. Go play Eye of the North, guys. You'll see that for yourself. Pinky and the Brain. His voice actor is the Brain, right? Okay. Are you and the Countess okay? Between us, Anise is like family to me. Her second great-grandmother, Ivinia, was a friend and ally in the Shining Blade. Fuck me, they're talking about Ivinia? I respect Anise's situation and her experience. The Six know she's earned that much. What happened to Ivinia? Tell me that mystery, quick. But there are times I still see a little girl playing the pranks in the royal halls with Princess Jenna. Oh, lovely. Okay. Good working with you again, Livia. Alright, now we got Bengt. Good to work with you, Commander. Or is it Wayfinder? I'm starting to see that my son's gossip about your exploits carries weight after all. So you knew Mabon, huh?
A few decades back, when I was a spry acolyte of Raven and had fostered a talent for mesmer magic, I met a disguised Mabon, sealing some anomaly in the Shiver Peaks. I aided him and was invited into the Collective. When he revealed his true self to the Collective some years later, I stood by him as a close friend and pupil.
What's the anomaly?
It wasn't a hard decision, although I can understand why it would be for some.
Yeah, we heard a little bit about that. When you go to Mabon's room, I think he has a journal reflecting on the moment he revealed. Okay, so the Collective.
You have some familiarity given your friendship with Lady Mead, no?
Yeah, where's she at?
I tease. Unlike the Astral Ward, we are small and connected enough to avoid Alliance oversight. For now, at least. Our inner council maintains internal matters, while the outer manages our external connections. The Shroud, well, there are field agents and investigators. That's all you'll pry from me. Perhaps Anise will invite you to a gala someday. They're quite the spectacle.
Okay, and Ludo. Livia's actions will have consequences, but success here will brought intel, credibility, and time. If the Alliance doesn't see that, I have to explain it to them very slowly. How do you think this operation went? By Assyrian standards or Alliance? You know what? Win is a win. Alchemy knows I was due. Damn it, even though I can read it quick, she won't progress quick. Between Livia's actions and the immediate fallout, this could have been an abject failure. 18 seconds. Now, I get to brief the Alliance and write a report for the Arcane Council. Okay, next. 10 seconds. I hope they see the merits of our collaboration, otherwise I'll have to drag them to the table kicking and screaming. What do you think about Ian? It's early stages, but my correspondence with the Empress and her sister have been rather advantageous so far. It helps to have someone there convey the intricacies of Assyrian expertise. Your colleague, Timey, has been indispensable in that regard. I should have rescued her from Frant's clutches years ago. Tangentially, I received a, juvenescent, I don't know that word, illustration of the Empress and myself from her niece. Auspicious, perhaps?
Hold on! I'm getting everyone out!
Oh, we all get downed. Okay, so the timer ran out, the Titan roared. Livia said it's flooding its body with spectral agony. We need to get out. And then the meta resets.
Apparently, some astral ward are stuck in the Mersat mirrors.
We need to evacuate now.
On that for me?
Apparently some astral ward are stuck in Mersat mirrors. Can someone check that out? She was talking about towers last time. Okay. I'm disappointed in the Titan. The Titan that ate the sea. So far. I don't know whether the main story will go further with it. They gave him a name, but it has no character. Greer had character. Decima and Ura had character. I was really looking forward to, like, this epic Titan, you know? But there might be more. Obviously, I haven't played the whole patch. I don't know, but I thought we were going to get a bit more of that from the meta. Also, I thought we would fight something, but it was hitting walls, really, and ads. So I'm not too sure on the meta. We'll have to do the other lanes and see how they go. Yes, I want to go over to the Mist Gate. In chat, Mahio said, WP, I tried the portal. It doesn't teleport you. Okay. WP, the dialogue is in Wiki, a Titanic Voyage article. We got all of the dialogue, thankfully, right? Just about. Azaris says, I don't really want some of these smaller societies to join the Alliance. Imagine the Dark Brotherhood who's like, yeah, we're considering joining an alliance of guilds in Tamriel. Forgive me, I barely remember the Elder Scrolls. So funny you mentioned that, because the current cliffhanger in Oblivion that I have right now for that Let's Play is all about them. But there's not really factions. Well, there are, but we don't spend... I don't know. There's a beating heart effect when you're close to the heart. Not sure if you've experienced that. Oh, so you think it was the Titan that spoke to the White Mantle? The Titan whispered to them? The Titan called them righteous? The Titan opened the gate for them? Interesting. Well, I obviously haven't finished the story. Guys, my throat is sore. We're coming up on 3.5 hours here. I'm going to end this part here, okay? I just want to say, chat, you've been amazing. People who've been in-game and running around with me. Dude, this has been a lot of fun. I have to say, so far, I'm loving Absolution. Really? I don't know how it's all going to end. I haven't seen the anti-climax yet. I can understand the environment being a bit of a disappointment to people. So far, though, this fucking... The stuff we've read and seen has been really good. You know, once you accept that Guild Wars tells its story in a certain way, if you can get over that, so far I'm really liking it. So join me next time. I suspect we'll finish the patch tomorrow. We'll be back with the Alliance staging grounds, and we'll see where this is all going. We'll learn more about this mysterious voice. Was it the Titan? Is it something else? The next bit you really want to talk about, but you're tired. Yeah, we'll leave it there, guys, honestly, because my throat is going to be very sore. Thank you very much for watching, guys. This has been Audrin Westar with Absolution, and I'll see you for the next part very soon. I'd also just like to say, if you want to leave regular comments, I'll probably do a mini Q&A section at the start next time. If you have any thoughts on the stuff we've talked about, you know, same old thing I always say is the outro of every episode. Thanks for watching, guys. Do remember you can get notifications in Discord again. Just go to the live notification channel and click follow. I've got instructions there for you. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one next time. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching. Let's hope our hard drive isn't absolutely exploding here again for the outro. Yeah. See, look, it's still playing the music. It does explode. Fucking hell. I think I'm going to buy a new hard drive. But an SSD. Because I think that's the thing. When we got this PC a couple of years ago, I put hard drives in it. Because I was kind of still, I guess, an old school mindset that hard drives would be cheaper for higher capacity. And what I really cared about was capacity. But I think you can get pretty deep SSDs now, right? And then an SSDs, because it's all digital, there's no spinning up. It won't have that issue. I think hard drives are still better if you're going to leave them unpowered, right? A hard drive unpowered stores data much better than an SSD unpowered. But I power this stuff all the time, so yeah, I don't know. We may have to look into getting an SSD. Anyway, let's try the outro again. Oh, sorry, I had a donation. Osiris, $5. Thanks very much. Cheers, WP. Is it more profitable for YouTube membership or Patreon? It's the same. I charge more on YouTube membership. It costs you like £2 more or something on a YouTube membership. And that's to cover the cut. So I get the same regardless. You pay slightly more for YouTube membership. But I have to say, I love Patreon and I encourage everyone to go to Patreon. It's probably better to be a YouTube member. You get the icon here on YouTube. When I do members-only videos, and they are coming, you'll get those easier. Like, things are a bit more visible. I feel like the service is better if you go with the YouTube side, but it is pricier for you. Either way, I don't care which people do. Realistically, both get me about the same amount. And a higher proportion just goes to me when you pick Patreon. So yeah, and just the more the better, really, because really it's what funds the channel. So yeah, thanks for asking that. Thanks for the donation. Thanks, guys. All right, outro again, third time's the charm.